James H. Reeve phone in.
The word cool. In media speak, it's quite an elastic word. Why cool? Why, oh why?
Call now on 0161 288 0103.
I want to know, where does Neck of the Woods come from? And also, my grandma used to say the price of fish.
Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Rule of thumb. Apparently, it's in the days when gentlemen could beat their wives with a stick, but the stick must be no thicker than the gentleman's thumb.
Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Hysteron, proteron. Now, am I right that such a term exists?
The James H. Reeve phone in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Just some examples of the wide range of topics that we cover on a Monday evening when we put forward theories and lodge queries in a 3-hour extravaganza of getting to the bottom of things. James H. Reeve here, masterminding... Oh, the music stopped. Didn't realise it did that. Masterminding proceedings. Sitting here on the one hand with my own vast reservoir of knowledge of virtually everything, but if that fails, then we have an enormous resource of the collective wisdom and knowledge. Subtle difference between the two. Wisdom is given of God, knowledge is bought in the marketplace, but you can also get it on the internet. Available from all the Hillmans throughout the world who are listening, who can throw light into the dark places of our ignorance. God blimey, I just made that up. You'd have thought I've sat for hours writing that, wouldn't you? It's brilliant. Cast in the dark places. You know, okay. Anyway, that's it in a nutshell. To put it rather more in more practical terms, if there's something you've always wanted to know, then tonight could be the night when you find it out. 0161 288 0103 is the most straightforward and desirable method. If you ring that, tell us what you need to know. Somebody somewhere will more than likely have the answer. And I'll just give you... Just to look back and give you some examples from last week. Last week, never to be forgotten, our Zulu special, where we investigated the what happened after the events portrayed in the greatest film of all time. And we traced the post-Rorke's Drift history of many of the survivors and found some very interesting and some very, very sad stories as a result. We've got a follow-up to that. Somebody wants a little bit more information, and as ever, I'm able to provide it. That was perhaps one of the most enjoyable moments of my life last week, which just shows you what the rest of it must have been like. We also discovered that there is, in answer to a query from a Hillman, there is a village in Yorkshire. Well, it would have to be, wouldn't it, called Crackpot? Oh, yes. Somebody wanted to know the origin of the expression tilting at windmills. Well, we got that one. That was from the novel by Manuel Cervantes, Don Quixote. And tilting at windmills was something that Don Quixote used to do, largely because he was out of his Spanish mind. But there we are. And then, as is sometimes happens, we were led off down a particular path purely by the punters. And we got into the subject of Christian names. When did we start using them? And what purpose do they serve? And it became we discovered that actually you were required to have them by the something or other of Oxford in the 13th century to distinguish one John. So not Christian names, what am I talking about? Surnames. Nom de famille. To distinguish one John from another John, you had to come up with something which enabled you to tell the difference. So you call one John from the north and the other John who lives by the wood, and so on and so forth. And it was all kind of formalised in the 13th century. We found out a lot of other things about names. For example, in Iceland, if you are a woman, you are not called Johansson, you are called Johansdottir until you get married. Because obviously, you're not John's son, you are John's daughter. We don't do that. They do in Iceland. Doesn't sound like a bad idea, really. What else happened? From a simple inquiry about why we say bless you when people sneeze, that led on to discussions about the plague, because that was the origin of it, because sneezing was one of the symptoms of the plague, and if you started sneezing, it was feared that this was the onset of it, and therefore people said bless you in an attempt to head off what looked like a very nasty attack of buboes coming on. And that led us into the nursery rhyme Ring a Ring a Roses, which had its origins in the symptoms of the plague, and so on and so forth. Touch wood. Why do we say touch wood? I don't think we really altogether got to the bottom of that. There was thoughts that it might be a nautical expression, hold on to something wooden, or was it something to do with the benign spirits which were supposed to live in trees? It was perhaps a dendrological reference. Oh, yes, yes. Listen, I bet that is the first time the word dendrological has been used on Key 103. It may well be the last. What else? Something that we significantly failed to do, and there's nothing to stop us carrying things forward, you know. We're perfectly entitled to do that. We mused for a while on the origin of the place name Whalley Range. And we decided that range is, in certain parts of the area, a word meaning a row of houses. But who or what was Whalley, after whom the district appears to be named? We didn't really get anywhere on that one, and my diligent research during the week has failed to come up with anything either. However, there might be a Hillman listening tonight who can tell us. The jackknife, what does the term jackknife mean? And it means to behave like a jackknife. And we found out that a jackknife was a special sort of sailor's knife with a folding bit and various attachments which might be required up in by a matelot of this parish. So that's the sort of thing we did. There's some other stuff that we didn't get round to, and stuff that we didn't sort out, and I've brought that forward, and so on and so forth. So you see, that's the sort of thing that we do. We can do a bit of local history, we can do sayings, we can do really anything from the world of human curiosity. And believe me, we do get some curiosities listening. Whether they are human, it's probably hard to say without actually meeting them face to face. And even then, you might not be sure. So that's the theory. That's how it works. We've already got some that have come in. Some more may come in during the course of the evening. We certainly hope so. That's the principle. 0161 288 0103 is the method of doing it. You call that. We put the question to the Hillmans, and somebody somewhere is virtually certain to know the answer. I'll tell you what we've already got in the pipeline here. This is Arian Gorton said, earlier today we were talking about the expression passing the book. I didn't think it was spelt as in reading book, but the idea was put forward that it was to do with the Bible. Anybody know where it comes from or what it refers to? Well, I think I do. I'll tell you later, but it isn't, it's not book as in book. It's book as in buckshot, believe it or not. We'll come back to that. Katie in Bolton says, can I ask you a question? You know when men dress up as women? Why should I know anything about that? It says, they're called drag queens. Why is it called drag? Where does the expression come from? And are you an expert? No, I'm not. John in Salford says, just to give you an excuse to do your Robert Newton impression. Oh, yeah, well, that would have happened at some point anyway. Can I ask what Pieces of 8 refers to? I realise that it's treasure. Can we have chapter and verse, please? Long John. Pieces of 8, yeah, I've got the explanation for you, sunshine. All in a day's work. Emma in Salford, the Beaufort scale that they use to measure the wind. How did that come about? How does it work? Right, we'll come on to that later. We've done the Richter scale and the role that a bloke from Rochdale, a Mr. Milne from Rochdale, had in developing the Richter scale. And Milnrow is named after him. Something that, I don't know how this has slipped through the net, but I think this has been going for a couple of weeks. A series which starred the Goodies and some of the Monty Python team before they were the Goodies and the Monty Python team. What was it called? Well, I thought it was called Do Not Adjust Your Set. But I have two offerings which suggest that it was something entirely different. All that's to come. Some new ones, and hey, talk about topical. We know what to do about this. Jimbo in Chadderton, I'm not sure if you've been asked this before. To settle an argument, can you tell me why in the World Cup final, you see, topical, in 1966, England played in red? My mates and I think it's to do with both England and Germany's strips being similar and showing on black and white TV. They could clash. Well, they'd clash on the pitch, which is at least as important. But since we were the home side, surely we had the choice to play in our home strip. Well, we'll do that later. I think they tossed up for it, but there's another interesting question to do with the 1966 World Cup, which I've even asked several, probably 4 or 5 of the blokes who played in that match, this question, and they don't know. Right. Harry in Gorton again. He said, the Brown Bess musket. Can I ask if it's got anything to do with Queen Elizabeth? Is that where the Bess part of it comes from? It doesn't appear to be the case, Harry. I shall explain more later. Katie in Bolton, does anyone know if it's true that Paul Simon wrote the song Homeward Bound while waiting for a train in Widnes? If so, what was he doing in Widnes, apart from waiting for a train? Thank you. At this stage, I understand it's true. He did write it in Widnes, and I think there's a plaque on Widnes Station to that effect. Why he was in Widnes, I can't remember. In fact, it may not be that I can't remember. It may be that I've never known. Emma in Salford, does anybody know which song holds the record for being at #1 in the charts for the longest time? I suppose this could go back as far as the 1950s, whenever the chart started. Can you help? I think it was more recent than that. I think it was that terrible, what's it, Everything I Do It For You. I think that holds it at the moment. John in Salford, can you settle a heated argument? There has been a row brewing. In fact, crisps have been thrown. What was the name of the boat in Gilligan's Island? And the discussion about the celebrated film Hell is a City, that's been going on for weeks, and it seems that we never run out of new facts and figures about that. Moira in Ancoats says, carrying on the theme of Hell is a City, can I ask a question about Walter Greenwood's famous novel, Love on the Dole? A film version of it was made in the 1940s. Was it filmed round here? I believe the novel was set in Salford, but I don't know whether the actual film was shot in Salford, and so on and so forth. So you get the picture? Right, that's the type of thing we're interested in. Anything. Phrases, expressions, local history, scientific facts, historical knowledge, geography, you name it. 0161 288 0103. You ring in, we ask a Hillman, and you sit, I was going to say walk away, but there's no need for you to walk away. You don't have to go anywhere. Stop where you are. You can enjoy the feeling of satisfaction in a sedentary position. 0161 288 0103. And because of the instant response nature, we will accept contributions via email through the website key103.co.uk. While you're there, you can enjoy the many amusing diversions contained therein, but you can also email us through the website. Okay? 0161 288 0103 is the phone number. key103.co.uk is the website. It's 10:15 already, and we'll start with the Hillman in just a moment.
These are the 3 songs you're listening out for on Key 103's £25,000 triple play. Play those songs in full and in that order on Key 103 sometime soon. And when we do, we'll be giving away another £25,000 cash. Key 103's £25,000 triple play.
On Key 103.
Where am I?
You're tied to a pole with a load of wood underneath you in the middle of my village.
But I was just on my way to get a Volkswagen Fox. What's happening?
Remember that song by Elton John called Sacrifice? Well, think of it as a tribute to you.
What's that chanting?
It's just a special chant. It's pretty catchy, actually. Anyway, better get on. You may feel a slight burning sensation. It's called being on fire.
The new Volkswagen Fox. What's stopping you? Because now you can pick one up from just $6,590 RRP. And with CD player, twin airbags and power steering as standard, you'll need a really good reason not to. We're giving you the chance to win a Fox or other amazing prizes like 6,590 air miles to New York, a 6,590 feet high trip to the Grand Canyon, or 6,590 minutes of music on an iPod. For your chance to win, log on to fox6590.co.uk. Terms and conditions apply. The new Volkswagen Fox from just $6,590 RRP. What's stopping you?
Key 103.
The nightclub returns to Manchester in its purest form. Pure, bringing the unique sounds of the legendary DJ Bowden every Saturday till 5 a.m. Only at Pure. Opens end of June in the Printworks, Manchester. See puremanchester.com. Saturday is pure.
Oops, there goes the bookshelf. Splendid, dear.
Don't miss the IKEA sale with over 2 million items half price across all stores. Now on.
I'm Eileen and I'm quitting with nicotine. I quit cigarettes about 6 weeks ago and I find that the nicotine lozenges are definitely helping. When I get a craving now, I pop nicotine lozenge in my mouth and I find that my cravings are gone within minutes. Before I quit cigarettes, I was really worried that I was going to put on a lot of weight. But I find they help take away my cravings for cigarettes and they help to reduce my food cravings.
Eileen quit smoking last year using nicotine CQ 4mg lozenges, which helped Eileen control her cravings and her weight while she quit. Requires willpower, contains nicotine, always read the label.
The James H. Reeve phone in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Right, you join us while we're just having some alterations done. I've lost everything now. What's happening? Oh, that's disappeared. Right. Good grief. Fine. Okay. Shall we start with Bob? Bob in Sale. You can have the pleasure and privilege, deep honour, far better than being mentioned in the Queen's birthday list, of being our initial Hillman this evening. Bob in Sale, you're on Key 103.
Good evening, James. You all right?
Good evening.
I really, really hope you can help me, or someone out there can help me anyway, because I know you're into your war films and stuff like that.
No, how dare you? How dare you? As it happens. Listen, I can't remember, did I mention this yesterday?
Not sure.
I was bad over the weekend. I was bad in bed.
All right.
But there's nothing new about that. I was watching you know, sometimes when your head's full of the pressures of everyday life.
Yeah.
And you think, I hope there's just a shocking film on that's no effort.
Right.
Very often it'll have the 7th Cavalry in it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You can just lie there going, oh. Yeah. Anyway, there was a diabolical film on called Fight Dirty or something like that. And it's about like a long-range desert group. And Michael Caine's in it. And Nigel Davenport.
I don't think I've seen that.
Well, Nigel Davenport was a very sort of stocky actor who usually played somebody quite nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And there was talk of him at one time being in line to be James Bond.
All right.
But that never happened. Are you assembling a climbing frame or something?
No, there's just rain on the roof.
All right. Anyway, it was a shocking film, and as usual, they had American vehicles with a cross painted on the side to make them look German, which always annoys me. But anyway, so I'm watching it, and the credits are going past, and I'm not taking a great deal of notice, but a name leapt out at me, and this was 1968. This film, and it was shocking. And as the credits are going past, I'm thinking, yeah, whatever. Suddenly I saw this name, and it said, screenplay by Melvyn Bragg.
What, the Melvyn Bragg?
Yeah, well, presumably.
Yeah?
Well, there can't be that many people called Melvyn Bragg, can there?
I'm not sure how old he is. I wasn't born till 76, so that film was a bit on my time.
I think he's probably in his mid-50s, I would think, Melvyn Bragg, so he'd have been about... God blimey, he'd have been about 20 then.
Yeah?
And he's a very, very talented man. Anyway, there we are. That's,
Thank you for that information.
That's all. No, I just thought it funny. You see, it's really weird when you see... I'm assuming it's the same Melvyn Bragg. And to find things that people did years and years ago when, you know, they needed the money. Bit like myself.
Well, if you answer this question, I'll give you a tenner.
All right, then.
Why is it that every single scene that you see from Iraq and you see in Black Hawk Down, why on the right arm of American soldiers is the stars and stripes, why are the stars top right-hand corner instead of the top left like the national flag is? It's been doing me head in for years. And at first I thought it was me, and then every single bit I've watched, every single one of them's the same. And everyone that I ask says, I've never noticed it. And then when they watch sort of like Black Hawk Down or something like that, they say, yeah, you're right, the stars are in the top right instead of the top left. Why?
Well, I suppose, I'm hazarding a guess here, but we may have, whatever the word is for an expert on flags, a flagologist.
Yeah.
I would have thought. The tradition is to show a flag with the, oh God, there's all different names for the parts of a flag, but the, oh, what's it called? Anyway, the bit nearest the flagpole, which has got its name,
yeah,
on the left-hand side. So when they show it in books and what have you,
yeah,
they always show it that way around, don't they?
I've always seen American flags with the pole on the right and then the stars and stripes in the top left. That's what it is if you watch, say, Poltergeist, where it shows you, like, the credits at the end, like we used to have, like, the national anthem and stuff.
Yeah.
The American, when they had their national anthem, it shows you the flag, and so the stars are always in the top left-hand corner, always.
They are,
I
just remember what it's called. The bit with like the seaming that the string goes through, that's called the fly.
Right.
Okay. So the fly, they always show it with the fly on the left-hand side, and the stars would be in the top left.
Yeah.
But if you're the other side of the flagpole, then the fly would be on the right-hand side, and the stars would be top right.
Right.
But the stars would always be nearest the fly. You with me?
Yeah.
So why it would never be in the far corner away from the fly.
Right.
So I'm just. But if you're you're talking about they've got a badge. Is it on the shoulder, on their upper arm?
No, it's always on the right arm.
It's always on the right arm, and it appears to be the wrong way around.
Yes. On every single film I've seen and every single clip and footage from Iraq, even going back to like the first invasion, the first Desert Storm, they've always had the flag with the stars in the top right instead of the top left. But everyone knows that if you were to say to someone, draw me the stars and stripes, everyone would draw it with the stars in the top left.
Yeah, yeah.
So why is it on the top right?
All right, we'll see. I mean, there might be some perfectly logical explanation for that, but it does seem a strange thing to do.
I've even been to like Army and Navy stores and surplus stores, and no one's, as I said, people have just said, "Oh, I've never noticed it."
Yeah.
But if you watch, like, as I said, Black Hawk Down, and most sort of like Jarhead and things like that, you can notice it. It's there all the time.
A mate of mine, you might know him, I go around and see him now and again. He's in the twilight of his years, a bloke called Dave Ward. He doesn't really know what's going on, but, and he was saying, he's one of these who says, when he's telling you about somebody.
Yeah.
He said, I'll tell you who was in the film the other day, and he starts stories like that, and then he can never remember who it is. So he goes, he was in, what's his name? He was in that other one where they're all in a plane that crashes and they have to build a thing. With that woman who used to do a lot of films with that other fella. And I'm sitting there with my head in my hands going, who? Right, it's always like that with him.
Yeah.
And he said, he was, with you mentioning Black Hawk Down before, he was trying to remember this a few weeks ago. He said, he said he was in that film, the one about the Americans in Africa. He said, what was it called? And I thought, here we go. He said, something down. I said, Watership. He says, no, I don't think so. That's a fact, that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll make inquiries about that, Roberto. Thank you.
If you could, because it's been driving me insane. I've even, been emailing random people in America, just to try and find out.
You've not emailed the Pentagon, have you?
Not yet. I'm just trying to find their email address.
Oh, I wouldn't do that, mate. Well, if I were you, we'll never see you again.
Be wiped off the face of the
Yeah,
earth.
certainly.
Yeah, black Mercedes pull up, bundle into the back, and
We'll go round to your house and there'll be a bloke living there that we've never seen before. Say, Bob? No, nobody called Bob's ever lived here.
the secret's out.
Yeah? Oh, God's truth. Right, we'll look into that for you, Sunshine. Thank you.
If you could, thank you.
What was the other thing? Oh, yes, World Cup topical. There was just a quick mention on some sort of fact thing about Paraguay the other day, that Paraguay is the only country in the world that there are two flags in the world that are unique. One is Nepal.
Yeah.
Because it's the only flag that isn't rectangular.
Right.
It's two triangles.
Right.
And the other, it said, is Paraguay. It's the only flag that's different on the two sides.
Ah, right.
And the reason is, it's got on each side of the flag, it's got like a seal, not one of those,
Not
but
quite.
like a seal of office.
Yeah.
And the one represents the Parliament and the other represents the President or something like that. So it has a different one on each side, and they change it every now and again. So sometimes it's the same on both sides, and sometimes it's different.
Do you know the only flag to have a machine gun on it?
The only flag to have a machine gun on it?
The only flag in the world to have a machine gun on it.
Well, I suppose Afghanistan springs to mind.
Nope.
No?
Mozambique.
Is it really?
It's got a gold AK-47 on the flag.
That's it. Well, that's nice.
There's a bit of useless information for you in case you ever get it on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something like that.
Yeah, but like a bit of local craft work on it. Yes, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much indeed. I'll make a note of that. What's the only flag that's got a picture of the country on it?
Africa, isn't it?
No, Africa's got loads of flags.
Sorry. It's one of the African ones, isn't it?
No, it ain't.
I don't know.
It's Cyprus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Cyprus got a little map of Cyprus in the middle of it. I thank you all. Anyway, back to what was the other one? The Confederate flag, the Southern Cross.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Dukes of Hazzard and sad people have hanging up in their bedroom.
The Confederate flag.
The Confederate flag, yeah.
Yeah.
They got rid of that because it's if you fly a flag upside down, it's a sign of distress.
That's right. That's why. I mean, I can't tell because that's a naval thing.
Yeah.
And people can tell. Well, naval people can tell when the Union Jack's upside down.
Oh, oh dear me! Oh dear me! Any Briton should be able to tell when the Union flag is upside down.
How?
Oh, look! I didn't think we'd be having this conversation this early. Look, the Union flag is comprises the Cross of St George and the saltire of St Andrew.
Right.
A saltire is a cross shaped like an X. Okay, so you've got a blue background with a white cross, and very conveniently, the red cross on the white background goes over the top of it.
Right.
Okay, so originally, it was just a red cross and a white cross all on a blue background. Then they introduced the idea of Northern Ireland.
Okay.
And they put hang on, I think there's a moth in the room. Sorry, Jackie's just come in waving around. Yeah. Are we on fire or something? What's the matter with you? Okay, right. Sorry, we're just having a mime session. So then they introduced the flag of Northern Ireland, which is the Cross of St Patrick, which is a red saltire, a red X, on a white background. And that very conveniently fitted over the top of the white X of Scotland.
Right.
It was a design masterpiece. But what they did, to show that Northern Ireland was not of equal status, they did what they call quartering the saltire. So they turn it, how can I put this? Imagine you fold it, you fold the top left-hand bit down.
Yeah.
So you sort of slightly turn it anti-clockwise. So the whole thing is not symmetrical.
Right.
So when you look at it, if you look at the top left, you'll find that you've got a white band with a red band in it, but the white band is thicker at the top than it is at the bottom.
Right.
nearest the flagpole. So if you look at a Union flag, that's the way it should be, and that's repeated all the way round. So it's you've got a white stripe. In the top left, you've got a white stripe with a red stripe down the middle, but the white stripe is thicker above the red stripe than it is below.
And and you can tell that from a distance, can you? If you're distressed.
If it's the other way around, well, it needs a trained eye. I got you.
Oh, right, it's a trained eye. No, it's not
and a telescope comes in handy. Right. But there you are. Dear me, what is the world coming to? A man isn't in a position to tell when the Union flag is upside down. There are no standards anymore. What chance have we got of winning this World Cup? That was Bob in Sale. Anyway, we've got one or two suggestions, but they read a little bit of reading through because I don't understand them, frankly. But anyway, there we've started. Right, that's set the ball rolling. You see, it's already out of control, but that's what we like. 0161 288 0103. If you've a query or a theory, then maybe we can marry the one off with another. 0161 288 0103. Off to Clifton shortly.
Key 103's Regen 10, celebrating the rebirth of Manchester.
Manchester is our city. There is no greater symbol of what our cities can do when they combine bold civic leadership with the commitment and enthusiasm of ordinary people. It's the place that defines us.
I've lived here all my life. With this being built now and the redoing of Salford itself, it's actually making the area a lot better.
And even when things stand in its way,
the IRA hasn't claimed responsibility, but all sides are accusing them.
It comes out stronger.
This amazing, sort of striking building sits where a car park used to be, on the edge of the blast area of the bomb. I think really it is the phoenix of the ashes.
That's why Key 103 and the MEN are hosting Manchester 10 Awards. 10 years of making Manchester great. To vote, visit key103.co.uk.
Key 103's Regen 10, celebrating the rebirth of Manchester.
Oops, there goes the bookshelf. Splendid, dear.
Don't miss the IKEA sale with over 2 million items half price across all stores. Now on.
Wouldn't it be a good idea to be able to move your mortgage without paying hundreds of pounds in setup fees? We think so too. The fee-free mortgage from Abbey. Pay nothing on booking fees, nothing on standard legal fees, nothing on valuation fees. Pay absolutely nothing to remortgage to us. Call 0800 80 80 80, visit abbey.com or your local branch for details. Abbey. More ideas for your money.
Available on selected tracker products. Early repayment charges apply for 2 years from completion. Free valuation up to £1,100. Calls recorded.
Maybe love. Maybe fun.
Maybe nights out. Maybe nights in.
Maybe romance. Maybe friendship.
Maybe something serious. Maybe just for laughs.
Maybe-friends.co.uk.
Safe, secure and discerning. A new dating database has arrived in the Northwest.
Maybe-friends.co.uk. Sign up now and registration is free.
Maybe it's exactly what you've been looking for.
Life changes every day. Anything can happen. But things go much easier with someone to rely on. Just when it feels like there's no one to turn to, we'll be here opening doors for you.
Call Northwest Property Buyers on 0161 3200 444.
Just when it feels like there's no one to turn to, we'll be here opening doors for you.
The James H. Reeve phone-in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Just have a look at some of the emails, and we need to sift through these, but there's already a very, very complicated explanation. Someone has been kind enough to send in a US Army regulation about the appearance of the Stars and Stripes and what you're supposed to do with it. Right, Sue in Clifton. We'll talk to you, Mrs. Sue. You're on that Key 103.
Hello, James.
Hello.
It's that young chap.
What young chap? Where?
The last one.
Oh, yeah,
was in the Cubs or the Scouts,
Yeah.
he'd know which way to put the Union Jack up.
I know. It's no good. It's no good, is it, Sue, eh?
It's not.
It's no good.
Anyway, there we go.
Where would he have
Right.
been? You couldn't trust him with the regimental colours, could you?
Oh, dear me, no.
No.
Right, excuse me, Asthma. It's another one of the grandma's phrases.
Another one, yeah.
We've had quite a few in the past.
Yeah.
I'm at 6s and 7s.
Oh, God, blimey. Right. Now then. I'll tell you exactly what... What?
I think it's something to do with playing cards.
No, it's not.
But she was a staunch Methodist.
Right. I don't think that's got nothing to do with it either.
So I'd appreciate anything on that one.
Right, I'll tell you now, because this is one that comes round periodically, and I can remember most of it, but I know from experience that someone will feel very pleased with themselves and will correct the bits that I leave.
Don't tell me it's Storm Chase.
No. Oh, well, no, he's a candidate, certainly. But I'll tell you what it is, 6s and 7s, and this is absolutely true. It's something to do with the Lord Mayor's parade in London.
Really?
Do you believe me?
I'm not convinced.
Right, well, I'll tell you. In the Lord Mayor's parade, and this is absolutely true, this. In the Lord Mayor's parade, the various guilds had a certain seniority, and they used to have to march in a certain order. And there were two guilds, and somebody will be ringing now to tell me which they were.
The Goldsmiths Guild.
The what?
Goldsmiths.
Possibly, yeah. But there were two, and they couldn't agree which one was senior. So what they used to do was alternate. 1 year, one would go at number 6, and the other would go at number 7, and the following year, they'd do it the other way around. And I'm not white. This sounds like an elaborate gag, this, doesn't it? But it's true.
No, it doesn't. It makes sense.
It's absolutely true.
Because to me, 6s and 7s, you can't make your mind up.
Absolutely. Well, that is how the expression came about. If something was at 6s and 7s, it was because these two guilds used to take it in turns to march at number 6 and number 7 in the Lord Mayor's parade in London. Honestly, that is absolutely and totally true, and I think I should receive some massive form of material reward for that, myself. But what I'll do...
Would Lord Mayor of London be appropriate?
That would be nice, yeah. Yeah,
you could cross your sheep over the bridge, couldn't you?
I could take them in any library I care to, and I could probably fix me bayonet, and walk down somewhere or other with me drums beating.
Lots of these things are sayings that my grandma came up with, and I have given you so many of them
You
that I
certainly
didn't
have.
know about.
Yeah, and here's me, and I'm only 28. And I know the answer to all these things,
Excuse
Sue.
me.
Oh, yeah, well, never mind. I haven't got time for any more of that. There you are, another satisfied Hillman. Paul in Blakely. He's dialed 0161 288 0103, which makes him a clever boy. And he's also appears to be even cleverer than that, because he's got the answer to something. Hello, Paul.
Hi, James. How are you?
Shocking.
I'm phoning regarding your thing about passing the book.
Oh, yeah, go on.
Now, this is weird. I've heard this same explanation twice in the past few months. One of it was on Piffle and Balderdash, which was on BBC Two.
Oh, that's Stolen Idea, yeah.
Yeah, and another one was on, do you know that guy who does Flog It, Paul somebody?
No.
Well, he's got a thing on BBC Two called The People's Museum. And he mentioned it as well. And passing the book, they said, comes from the old mills. And you know when you're weaving and you throw the shuttle between the weft and the whatever?
Weft and the warp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was nicknamed a book.
Was it?
Apparently. And if you let your line break or you did anything to sabotage that working, you were in trouble.
Yeah.
So they used to fling the shuttle back the other side and pass the book.
Well, I strongly suspect that that's tripe.
Oh, really?
With no disrespect to the two, thieving gentlemen concerned. Because...
Well, it sounds really feasible. It sounds really, really right.
It sounds fairly so, but the truth... And I know this from, like, doing all sorts of historical research.
Yeah.
If two people say they've heard the same story, then it must be true. But it might just be that they've both heard the same wrong story.
Right,
And
yeah.
I'll tell you why I doubt it, is that there was an American president, again, was it Harry Truman, who had a plaque on his desk in the White House that said, "The buck stops here."
Right.
Now, whether he got that from the cotton mills of Lancashire, I very much doubt.
Well, a lot of people and a lot of things from the cotton mills of Lancashire went a long way in this world.
Oh, yeah. But the story I have heard, and a mate of mine who makes a living researching things like this,
right?
He said it was originally when I said it refers to buckshot.
Yeah.
A piece of buckshot that when people were playing, it's from the Wild West. This is what he told me, that the buckshot was used to denote the dealer if you were playing cards.
Right.
And you'd put it, quite often you'd use it as a paperweight to put on your money. And then, when your turn at dealing had gone, and it was the next bloke's, you would pass it to the left. And that became known as passing the buck.
Passing the buck?
Yeah.
Right.
And then it came to mean passing the responsibility. And that's why I'm sure it was Truman, said, right, the buck stops here. In other words, I get the responsibility. When everybody else has passed it along, it finishes up with me. So I'm very sceptical about the cotton mill explanation, to be honest with you.
Well, okay, but even the same, going along the same lines you've just said there, somebody who owns up to something, and somebody says, yeah, okay, it was me.
Yeah.
Well, the book will stop with them.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I understand the metaphor.
Yeah.
But the origin. I mean, I'm much more favour the Wild West idea, and I've never heard the mill theory previously. But there you go. But you prefer that one, do you?
Well, it rings true, doesn't it?
The mill one.
That's providing that the shuttle is called a book.
I've never, to be honest with you, I mean, living round here, you learn about, what is it you learn about? I always get these in the wrong order. Reeves.
Well, I'm from Liverpool, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you were part of the cotton industry. You used to charge people of Manchester a fortune to export stuff from Liverpool. That's why we built the ship canal.
Yeah, that's right.
It was Crompton, that's right, Crompton's mule, Reeve's spinning jenny. You used to do these in history, didn't you,
Yeah.
And Kay's flying shuttle. So you learn all about the cotton industry and the role it played in this, that and the other. And they never, ever, ever...
mentioned it as being a book.
The reference to it as a book. In fact, I bet if we rang Style Mill, where they've got all the history and all that, what's it called? You know, the cotton mill at Style. And see if they know anything about it. I might do that during the week, actually. But
it'd be interesting to find that out.
Yeah, I absolutely, honestly, Paul, have never heard that reference. So, I mean, I'm prepared to be corrected. Doesn't happen to me often.
Well, I totally accepted it, you know, when I heard it, because it answered the question, where did it come from?
Yeah, but that's what will happen if you put your faith in these two-bit organisations like the BBC. You know what I mean? You stick with what you know and what is good for you, which is James H. Reeve on Key 103, right? I'm not having that. I'll go with the bookshop one, but there we are. Pauline Blakely, that's the passing the book one, and now this is the way it should go, isn't it? We've got 2 or 3 ticking over, and more to come. 0161 288 0103. I'm going to do a very, very dry cough now, and and this may happen quite a lot. Unless enormous quantities of piping hot tea appear. I'm just saying that, you know, in case anyone hears it.
So, will you pick sexy Salzburg, birthplace of Mozart and setting for the sound of music? Or would you rather Bratislava? She's a 24-hour city, but will you keep up? Or will you have a crack at Krakow? Beautiful by day, but what a sight by night. The choice is yours.
With Sky Europe Airlines, the choice is even easier. Just £25 each way, including taxes, can get you a date with these European cities, thanks to Central Europe's largest low-cost airline. Just visit skyeurope.com. Skyeurope.com. More Europe to discover. Terms and conditions apply.
G'day, Ned. Ooh, like a new handbag.
Yeah, well, I heard that with Sheila's Wheels car insurance, you can get special handbag cover of up to £300.
Yeah, but Ned, Sheila's Wheels is for women drivers.
Damn. Took me hours to catch that crocodile.
For your Bonza deal, girls, call 0800 085 6919 or visit SheilasWheels.com. Terms and conditions apply.
I've been seduced before, oh yes. By estate agents who promise a des res but show you a shoebox. By aftershave that guarantees women will fall at your feet. In fact, they just pass out from the fumes. By easy-to-assemble flat-pack furniture. By a washing powder that would keep my pants whiter than white, yet they're still beiger than beige. And by the tantalising aroma of many a kebab shop.
Some things aren't what they're cracked up to be. When surveyed, the majority of people who left BT didn't make the savings they thought they would. Turns out the grass isn't greener after all. BT, bringing it all together. Claim based on an independent survey of 156 customers who'd left BT. Survey conducted between January and March 06.
Welcome to M&S. In store today, you'll find a fine selection of euros next to the flip-flops, a batch of crisp, fresh pesos, and a lovely assortment of US dollars.
Come to M&S for your travel money. It's commission-free with a wide range of currencies and excellent exchange rates available in-store and online. Your travel money, your M&S.
Omega-3?
Omega-3.
Omega-3!
Omega-3.
Omega-3.
Omega-3?
Omega-3.
This advert contains more Omega-3 than any other. Just like New Flora Omega-3 Plus Spread contains more of the most effective Omega-3 than any other. Visit florahearts.co.uk to find out how Omega-3 helps keep your family's hearts healthy as part of a balanced diet. Flora Omega-3 Plus is also available in a mini drink.
Omega-3.
If you can't find the right colours, size and range you need, why not come to the Trafford Centre? You can shop till 10 p.m. every weekday. The parking's free and we have a massive range of stores with lots of large flagship branches like Selfridges, with a fantastic new accessories hall and our newly refurbished 4th-floor Marks & Spencer. So whatever you're looking for, you'll probably find it here. The Trafford Centre, always ahead.
The James H. Reeve phone-in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Oh, in the words of the immortal Johnny Nash. Well, he's not immortal, it's just a figure of speech. But there are more questions than answers. And he was right, you know. There's hundreds coming in now. Give us a chance. We're getting snowed under here. Let's go to Eccles. Jane. Jane's in Eccles, is it? Yeah. Jane in Eccles. Hello, Jane.
Hello.
Hello. I'll tell you why I was struggling.
Why?
Because whoever designed this has got, you know, we have all, like, signs, screens that light up here.
Yes.
And so you've got black letters on a bright red background. And
that's a migraine waiting to happen.
Absolutely. It's one of those where it appears that the words are floating about 3 inches in front of the screen. You know, it's one of those optical illusions they give you, isn't it, to do?
Try taking more water with it.
Yeah, right you are. Thank you.
Water? Don't drink water. I know what fish do in it.
Jane, have you a query or a theory?
It might help Bobbin sail out about the American flag.
God, I don't know what he started here. We've got loads and loads of explanations, and all of them, of course, contradict each other. But have a try. Go on.
My better half works for the American Embassy, so I've just phoned him.
Oh, are you allowed to say this?
Well, yeah, because he's British.
Oh, okay. Then.
He just works with the Mongs.
All right, yeah. They'd never do anything to us, would they? Yeah, okay.
They're not capable of doing anything to anybody.
It's like, you know when they say information's classified? But they also say, here are the classified football results, don't they? So if
One thing about American squaddies,
yeah,
they've got all the gear and no idea.
I couldn't possibly express a view either way on that subject.
But you know it's right.
Don't press me on this one, Jane.
Well, he has to work with them.
Yeah, well, all right,
7
get on,
days a
get
week.
on, get
Well,
on to it.
I've just rang him at the embassy in Kabul, and I said...
You've what?
Well, that's where he works.
Oh, all right then, yeah. Okay.
And it's 3:30 in the morning, so any excuse to annoy him is good enough for me.
Okay then, all right, yeah.
So, I said, somebody's just been on and they want to know why the flag is back to front on the news and when they're out at war and winning the war on terrorism all on their own.
Right.
So, he's asked the regional security officer for the American embassy, who is American.
Right.
And apparently...
And he said, I cannot give you that information.
No, he told him.
Oh, right, fair enough. Right,
He's given two versions.
This is a breakthrough, yeah.
Right, the first version is that there's more idiots than there are sensible people, so they put it up the wrong way. But the official explanation is apparently they always fly the flag the wrong way round when they're in a combat zone, and they don't reverse it till each and every man is back safe.
Is that a fact?
That's according to the American embassy in Kabul 20 minutes ago.
So they've...
Which, when you think about it, with... I'm trying to put this in a very nice way. The bravado they go out with makes perfect sense for the Americans, because they have to be different.
Well, I mean...
you know, we won't leave any men behind and all that.
Yeah.
So what they do is, according to him, they fly the flag in reverse while they're in any combat zone anywhere in the world, and they don't reverse it and put it up the correct way till each man is back.
Until the mission is accomplished. That's very... do you know, that's a possibility, actually, isn't it, when you think about it? I'm prepared to accept that. And this has also reminded me of something else. They do something in the Oval Office. Don't they have a different rug or something?
I've heard that as well.
When there's something, when the country is officially at war, they change something in the Oval Office and then change it back when officially...
it's usually presidents, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. We're working on it. Hey, you're funny. Yeah, that's right, they do. I don't know whether it's... there's a big rug with the eagle on it or something like that. Yeah, they change... Yeah. Now, well, I tell you what. I mean, I take your word for that if you've got that straight from the horse's mouth.
I was due to ring him anyway, because I always give him a ring just before I go to bed.
Yeah.
And I thought when I was... because I've actually noticed it, but it's been one of those stupid things that every time I mean to ask him about it, because it's so insignificant, I forgot. But listening to Bob tonight, I thought, right, two birds with one stone. So I rang him and I said, right, find out off the Yanks why they fly the flag in with the other way round.
Right, well, that's very, very good of you, Jane. That's excellent. Thank you very much indeed.
I have got a little question, and I'm sure I've heard the answer for it, but...
Yes?
Have you ever said something and thought, oh my God, that's my mother talking?
That's Norman Bates you're thinking of.
I actually found myself...
That was a good gag, that.
It was.
Yeah. Go on.
I actually found myself saying something tonight to one of my children that I haven't heard since I was a child. And he was larking about, and I said to him, oi, come on, up the dancers.
Oh, yeah, now my dad used to say that all the time.
My mum and dad always said it to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it came from, and it was like, oh. And he sort of looked at me and went, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I know.
But I couldn't give him an explanation because I don't know where, because it's not apples and pears or anything like that.
No.
But where does it come from?
Well, I'm afraid it's rather corny, actually. It's a bit of rhyming slang. Just before I tell you, I thought you meant, do you find yourself saying things your mother used to say, like, don't rub your eyes?
Oh, I'm
things,
I'm
you know
forever
what I mean?
doing that.
Think
Yeah.
when you were a kid, you used to rub your eyes because it felt better, didn't it? And your mum would say, "Don't rub your eyes," and then you thought, "Oh no, I'll rub my eyes because it stops it itching." And then when you become a parent yourself, you find yourself automatically saying it. Don't rub your eyes. Don't put that knife near your mouth. Anyway, Up the Dancers. I'm really, really sorry about this, and it's a terrible. It's like not very funny, but it's a pun on Fred Astaire.
Ah.
Fred Astaire's, not to be confused with his brother Stan. Right, you've just worked that out, haven't you?
I'm tired.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. I've got you while you're weak and feeble at the moment. Yeah.
I am,
admittedly,
yeah.
But I'm afraid it was Fred Astaire's Dancers. That's it. That was the joke. It's not very funny. I wish it were much cleverer than that. But that's what it was, and apparently people used to say that, Up the Dancers. Yeah, used to say
I've never, it's not something I've heard a lot of people refer to.
No.
But obviously, when I was getting on the nerves, that's what they used to say to me. Come on, Up the Dancers.
Well, I think we should use it more often and encourage more people to use it more often.
I think children should live up the dancers.
Yeah, strictly speaking.
So I hope that's been of some information for Bob anyway.
Very, very helpful. And it just goes to show how far my tentacles are spread.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, all the way to Kabul.
Any more information on Afghanistan, I can fill you in on all the details.
That's very nice. How's the Afghan cricket team going on?
I've no idea.
They are touring at the moment. Mind you, the way England are shaping, I'm glad we're not playing them because they'd probably give us a good hiding. Right,
Okay,
Jane.
if you ask me about anything with two wheels, not a problem.
All right, Mrs. I don't know what that means, but thanks very much all the same. They are. Now, that was fantastic of Jane to go to all that trouble. Thank you very, very much indeed. Lovely. They are. I think that's more or less done it. There's a lot. I'll tell you what, Jackie will come in and do a roundup in a bit of the various things. We've had a number of explanations. Thank you, Jane. That was smashing, that. Joe in Middleton. 0161 288 0103. If you do that, you'll finish up where Joe is, which is here. Hello, Joe. Oh, God's truth. Turn the radio down.
Oh,
as per your instructions.
Sorry about that.
That's quite all right.
I was. My instructions were saying that you weren't coming to me yet.
Oh, were they?
Yes.
Well, life's full of surprises, Joe.
It is.
As I'm learning, yeah.
I do apologise for that.
Well, all right then.
You mentioned earlier Hello?
Hello?
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Right, what?
You mentioned earlier the ship in Gilligan's Island.
Oh, yes, somebody wanted to know what it was called, yeah.
And it was called the Minnow.
Oh, was it?
Yes. According to my television encyclopedia.
The Minnow, was it really?
Yes.
Now, I've just seen a message has just flashed before me in our complicated studio saying it was called the Saucy Sue.
No.
It was called the Minnow.
Yes.
Well, that's extraordinary. Right, I'll make a note of that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, I know what will happen now. Someone will say, "What were the name of all the characters?" But we're not doing that.
Right.
The only thing worth noting is that Gilligan, whose name was Bob something.
Yes.
He died a few months. Was it this year he died?
I don't know. I didn't know that.
He has died recently. His name was Bob something. I can't remember what it was now. I don't think you'd have much success if you tried to think of anything else that he'd done apart from Gilligan's Island.
Right.
He didn't really have a good
who else was in it? It was Jim Backus in it, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Mr. Magoo.
Yeah.
Alan Hale Jr.
Here we go. Yeah.
I'm thinking off the top of my head. I've not got my book in front of me, but...
You're determined to work these in, aren't you?
No, forget that. Let me move on to another one.
Go on then.
Some conversation about Paul Simon and the writing of Homeward Bound.
Paul Simon, it is alleged, wrote Homeward Bound while waiting for a train on Widnes railway station.
Now, I recently read an article in the aforementioned two-bit organisation BBC's magazine, the Radio Times, because he recently did a concert for one of the radio stations.
Yeah.
And they did an article on him, and it was mentioned that it was written on Widnes Station. But the interesting bit about it was, at that time, Widnes Station was not called Widnes Station.
Oh.
It was called Farnworth. Now, I read that and I thought that's a mistake, but written by some idiot from London.
Farnworth's near Bolton, isn't it?
Yeah. But with my connections with the Royal Mail, I asked colleagues if they'd ever heard of an area called Farnworth in Widnes, and one of them said they did actually know there was an area called is an area called Farnworth in Widnes.
Is there, in fact?
Yes. So, and one thing further, you were asking, what was he doing in Widnes?
Yeah, God.
Well, in the early 60s, he left Mr. Carbuncle in New York and came here, was working the folk clubs of England and Britain.
Right.
And he was touring, doing the various folk clubs. I do remember him actually being here in the early 60s.
Good heavens.
It's, I'm getting on a bit.
He must have one foot in the grave, by
At
the
least.
Yeah. No disrespect, yeah.
Yeah.
Not trying to get you down or anything.
No. Not down in the grave, never mind. Anyway, but I remember him actually doing a thing on what was known as a light program in those days, where he used to sing a song every day, every morning.
Good, blimey. So he may very well have appeared at Middleton Dyers and Polishers then.
It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, or even in was it called the Co-op Hall above Burton's, where the Beatles actually appeared as well?
All that sort of thing.
The Ringer Bells and all these places, yeah. But, yes, certainly he came over here for the folk scene in the early 60s.
Right, well, we'll try and find out where he must have been appearing somewhere in the northwest if he finished up on. I'm surprised if he was on Widnes Station waiting for a train. I'm surprised the song isn't called "I Wish I Was Dead." But yeah, Homeward Bound was probably thought it scanned better.
Yeah.
Joe, gotta go. Thank you very much indeed. There we are. So it was Widnes Station. It was probably called Farnworth Station at the time. Whatever it is, I'm told that there is a plaque there to commemorate him sitting there for a bit. Right. Joe, 0161 288 0103. We've got some questions to do. We've got a bit more. We're applying the finishing touches to the Zulu special. And, we've got, as we generally hope on a Monday evening, it's hard to sort out the incoming from the outgoing. But we'll do our best. We'll muddle through. 0161 288 0103. James H. Reeve on... Well, this is clever. I'll do it again. And you're listening to James H. Reeve on...
Key 103.
Practical German.
Ich habe eine Panne.
My car has broken down.
Ich brauche dringend Hilfe.
I need help.
Ich habe vergessen, dem RAC beizutreten.
I forgot to join RAC Rescue.
Der 6 spezielle Patrouillen in Deutschland für die Fußball-Weltmeisterschaft unterhält.
Who have 6 dedicated patrols in Germany for the World Cup.
Ich bin ein Nincompoop.
I am a nincompoop.
For expert breakdown assistance at home and abroad, visit rac.co.uk.
Welcome to M&S. In store today, you'll find a fine selection of euros next to the flip-flops, a batch of crisp, fresh pesos, and a lovely assortment of US dollars.
Come to M&S for your travel money. It's commission-free with a wide range of currencies and excellent exchange rates available in-store and online. Your travel money, your M&S.
I've been seduced before, oh yes. By estate agents who promise a des res but show you a shoebox. By aftershave that guarantees women will fall at your feet. In fact, they just pass out from the fumes. By easy-to-assemble flat-pack furniture. By a washing powder that would keep my pants whiter than white, yet they're still beiger than beige. And by the tantalising aroma of many a kebab shop.
Some things aren't what they're cracked up to be. When surveyed, the majority of people who left BT didn't make the savings they thought they would. Turns out the grass isn't greener after all. BT, bringing it all together. Claim based on an independent survey of 156 customers who'd left BT. Survey conducted between January and March 06.
The James H. Reeve phone-in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
I'll just do a little bit of a recap on we've had some response to some of these. Emma in Salford said, does anybody know which song holds the record for being at number 1 in the charts for the longest time? I think it was, what was it called? Was it Bryan Adams? Anything I Do for You. I think I'm right in saying, I think I was number 1 for 17 weeks or something like that. That's the one about Paul Simon. We've dealt with that one satisfactorily. Harry and Gorton said the musket referred to as the Brown Bess. How did it get its name? Has it got anything to do with Queen Elizabeth I? Is that where the Bess bit comes from? Well, I carried out a lot of research on your behalf, Harry, and have obviously left it. Oh no, here we are. That's right. I wouldn't have thought so, because it didn't come into use until about 200 years after Queen Elizabeth I had died. But here's one explanation, but don't get carried away with this. The short land service musket, new pattern, was used by the British Army as a result of the 1768 clothing warrant. You'll be, you're probably expecting me to say that. This musket came to be affectionately known as the Brown Bess. While the exact origin of this nickname has become obscured over the years, one explanation states that the name came from the colour of the walnut stock. Prior to the Brown Bess, the stock of a musket in the British Army was painted black. And the Bess bit is just because it kind of goes, it's alliterative, isn't it? It's nice, the Brown Bess, da-da-da-da. However, in the course of my research, I came across a huge discussion about this, and it's so long and it's so detailed that really, if I were to read it out to you, would be, well, Sam Walker can go and get measured for a suit, because she wouldn't have to appear till about 3:30. So all I can say is, if you've got Tinternet, there's a site which is called Concord MA. That's Massachusetts, isn't it? ConcordMA.com. And if you go there, there is a gigantic article on the Brown Bess musket, and it seems to imply that it might have been the Americans who first called it that, but certainly during the War of Independence, both sides referred to the musket as Brown Bess. And there's all sorts of historical references. It's very, very thorough and very, very long, but it is certainly highly unlikely that the Bess bit is anything to do with Elizabeth I. Probably just because it rolls off the tongue nicely. And Nicola from Widnes said, Widnes Station is located in an area called Farnworth, and there is a plaque in place. Reference, Paul Simon. I thank you. Lovely. I'm due for a breather now, because the Hobsons isn't going to last much longer. It's 10 minutes past 11. Oh, I can feel a sickie coming on. Just in time for the match. That's hard lines, isn't it? 10 past 11. Let's go over to the Jackie desk.
Thank you.
For some Jackie.
And some questions and answers from people on email. The first from Helen Highwater. I think that's me. In Disbury. James, do you remember a big fire station on the Crescent in Salford in the 1970s? It was supposed to have been a Victorian building. Where was it? Please help tell me.
Please tell me to go to hell.
Awful. Please help tell me something about it. Best regards, you handsome devil.
Oh, that's for me then.
It is.
What, a big fire or a big fire station?
Big fire station.
Yeah, there was a whacking great one. In fact, there's like a big. I'm just trying to think. It was next to. You know where Salford Uni is?
I do.
If you're coming into town.
Yeah.
As you
You've
get
got the train station on your left.
What?
The Crescent train station.
Who's telling this story?
Go on.
Right. Salford Uni's on your left.
Yeah.
No railway station is mentioned in
There is one there.
in this discussion.
Oh, go on.
Right. There's one in Farnworth, but that's got nothing to do with it. Right. The university's on your left, and then immediately on your right, there's it used to be, I don't know whether it still is, used to be the police station there, and it's got like a big courtyard in front of it.
Yeah.
And I think the fire station was next to that at one point.
Isn't there a court as well there? Is there a magistrate's court there?
Don't know now. It
Sure
used to be down near Salford Town Hall. And a lot of people have asked us has Salford got a town hall, because you wouldn't know it was there, but there is one off Chapel Street. Anyway, yeah, I think I was pretty sure there was a... Yeah, but it's probably a bit awkward, you see, now, with it being a dual carriageway.
Yeah.
You could lose vital seconds.
Yes, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Chris in Old Trafford says, James, when I was a kid, there was a powdered, we used to call
This is like a news bulletin, this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We used to call Kayli phonetically. That's a joke, isn't it?
No.
Okay. There was 2 types, rainbow crystals.
Rainbow crystals.
And American cream soda.
Oh, yeah.
Both the jars that these came in never mentioned Kayli, but everyone knew them as such. Where does Kayli come from, and how is it spelt? Also, we'd get a licorice stick with it, which we only knew as a Spanish. Does anyone know why?
People used to call licorice Spanish for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, no idea why. Somebody will know. But yeah, Kayli was actually there was more than there were a few types. You could get raspberry or lemon or rainbow, which was like a mixture all in the jar. But of course, it was just like done in layers, half layers. Like, so you thought you'd get a bag of. It would be like that in the bag, you know, like striped paint.
Yeah.
But of course, it wasn't. It was all just mixed up because they put a little scoop in, and you just got all like a mix. So it was right. And I think there was American cream soda, and everybody called it Kayli, but nobody. I never knew what it meant. You just called it Kayli because that's what you asked for, and that's what you got.
That's what you got. Oh,
but it seemed to be a fascinating mixture of sugar and what I took to be nitric acid. Because it was a mixture of on the one hand it was sweet, but simultaneously so sour that on occasion people's shirt was known to come completely out of the trousers. It was sweet and the sourest thing ever. And
why do you eat those things when you're kids?
Because it's just like any sensation will do.
Yeah, that's
isn't
true.
It? Right. And it was the method of eating it was to stick your index finger in your mouth, bearing in mind it had previously been up your nose, digging stuff out of the pavement with lolly sticks. Everywhere.
Stick it in the pack.
Probably got some dog dirt on it, you know. And then lick it, stick it in the bag, and suck it off your finger.
Yes.
And it never did me any harm.
No.
Because you've got to eat a peck before you die.
Now, Jane's already been on the phone about this one. This is an email from Andy regarding the flags.
Yes.
Having travelled the globe many years ago, James, I picked up much information, much of which is useless. I thought this was until now.
Oh,
the flags on the uniforms of soldiers may look incorrect and indeed horizontally mirrored. However, they are correct. You see, a flag is always meant to be the correct way round when facing your heart. This is, I believe, to show patriotism. Can't speak tonight, can I?
You
terrible.
mean sticking up for it? For sticking up for yourself, is that
yes.
right?
Yeah. So there you go.
Okay. Yeah, I think a text message came in, something like that. I'm just wondering whether it's a bit difficult to visualise. Even someone as gifted at painting pictures with words as myself is labouring with this one. Okay.
Moira in Ancoat says, hello, James. The name of the boat in the Gilligan's Island series was the SS Minnow. Do you remember Jim Backus?
Jim Backus, yeah.
He used to voice Mr. Magoo.
Yeah.
He was one of the other castaways.
We've just done that.
Done that?
But the minnow is confirmed. I can't remember Bob Gilligan's real name, Bob something or other, but he did die. He's died in the last 12 months or so.
Sue's answered this because Sue Denton says it was the SS Minnow actor Bob Denver played the part of Gilligan.
I nearly said Bob Danvers Walker, but it wasn't him.
Jimmy in Audenshaw says, James, any more info on the religious merchants in the bowler hats at football grounds? Who were they and do they still knock about? That was one from last week, wasn't it?
It's one from a few weeks ago, actually. And I did see in an old book about City, there was a picture of, I think they used to call him Holy Joe. He used to always be out in the...
Yeah, why does that ring a bell?
The car park outside the Kippax with a bowler hat on and sandwich boards. or a placard saying the end is nigh.
And they used to be in town as well, didn't they? On
Did
Saturday
they?
afternoon shopping,
I think they used to go. I don't know the history of that and current state of that particular movement. Thank you. Oh, she's just abandoned the Jackie desk because something else has arisen. Right. Leroy from Prestwich says, James, please can you tell me where the phrase up yours originates from? Well, it originates from Prestwich, Leroy, because I'm going to come round to your house and say it to you later on. So there. And this is an old favourite. James, I've just been told that the children's TV series Captain Pugwash had characters in it called Seaman Staines and Master Bates. Is this true? No, it's not. Nor is it true that Captain Pugwash had a young assistant called Roger the Cabin Boy. No, that is an urban myth. In fact, the cabin boy's name was Tom. Hang on, have I fallen for it again? Tom the Cabin Boy. No, that's perfectly clean, isn't it? So I'm sorry about that one. And a quick text message to which I shall respond. This is, again, this is an old favourite, and this has come up many, many a time. Unfortunately, I can't find it now, but, oh, hellfire. Somebody said, I remember seeing Yuri Gagarin, and this one comes round time and time again, Yuri Gagarin in an open-top bus going round Manchester. I can't find it now, but it's here somewhere. But anyway, I'll tell you, yes, I can confirm that because I saw him. He wasn't on an open-top bus. Yuri Gagarin, for the younger Hillman, is... Oh, hey, I found it. It's David Withington. When I was young, my father said... My nan used to tell me about how she once saw Yuri Gagarin, the first man in space, on an open-top bus parade around Ardwick or Bellevue. Is it true? And if so, does anyone remember it when it was? Dave in Withington, as a babe in arms... I saw Yuri Gagarin, the first man in space. I saw him driving down Barlow Moor Road. And you can find, there's information about this on websites. He was the first man ever to go in space, and for some reason, I stood outside Chorlton Library and watched him go past. And apparently, he was on a visit to the United Kingdom, and he went to somewhere in... I'm not sure that it was Old Trafford. No, it was... Actually, I think it was Brooks's Bar or somewhere around there, to the headquarters of the Metal Workers Union, and presented them with a medal declaring them heroes of the Soviet Union or something like that. But this is an actual fact that Yuri Gagarin did make a short visit to Britain, and for some reason Manchester was one of his destinations. So, so there. That's a fact. I'll try and find out some more if you want, and we might put something on the website. Ange says, why do we say K-lied, meaning drunk? Well, if you tie that in with the previous thing, I suspect that K-lie must have been some slang word for something, booze or something. This needs further research. But yeah, K-lie, it sounds to me as if it's one of those, it sounds suspiciously like a word that will have been brought back from overseas, doesn't it? K-lie. It sounds like something that the forces brought back as an expression from India or somewhere of that nature. I don't know. We'll look into it further. Let's go to Prestwich. Winifred. Sorry, the options won't last much longer. I'm warning you. Ooh, I feel I might be taken bad just before kick-off tomorrow. Winifred in Prestwich, we'll have you on. You're on Key 103. Winifred, hello.
Hello.
Winifred in Prestovich.
Yes.
Yes.
I'd like to, you know what, the touch wood.
Oh, aye.
You know the touch wood?
Yeah.
Well, I was always taught that the cross of Christ, the cross.
Oh, possibly.
You
possibly,
know,
yeah.
Religious.
Yeah.
It was like good luck.
It would bring blessings upon you.
Good luck, blessings to you. And you must touch wood now.
Right.
I always said it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know whether that is gospel, but
I don't know either. Somebody said that, that it was a nautical expression. I don't know. It's also the case that, of course, woods have been associated with, you know, spirits, and are they called dryads or naiads or something like that?
Yes, well, it could be. You mean like the witch?
Might be a pagan thing, or it might be Christian. I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
the wooden broom of the witch.
Yeah.
Could be that. But I was, you know, I always said touch wood. Because it was, my mother always said it was the cross of Christ, you see.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. It would have certain, obviously, religious connotations.
Yeah. Could I mention, before you ring off...
okay.
You know the toffees, you know the K-lies?
K-lie, yeah.
No, the K-lie. You would be K-lied, wouldn't you? It's like an aphrodisiac.
Is it?
Wouldn't it? Well, wouldn't it? It takes your head off your shoulders.
Oh, I don't know. Did you, did you used to resort to it?
It's lovely.
In your heyday?
What it must have been.
Oh, yes.
What it must have done to our teeth, that's another thing.
Oh, hellfire, yeah. You know, there's no two ways about that, yeah.
But, I mean, it used to grab your throat.
Oh, it was. I can remember it now.
You must remember it.
There was... I tell you what, there was a firm that, Maxon's Rainbow Crystals.
Oh, God.
That was the name of the firm.
You got a stick of licorice with it and hooped it out. Oh, God.
Oh, no, I must disagree. You got a stick of licorice with a sherbet fountain. That was a different thing.
It was one way of getting it down, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you remember those, Victory V's? Full of chloroform.
Oh, yeah, you can still...
Oh, eh?
You can still get Victory V's, but...
I know, but they're not with that substance in them.
I would imagine most of the things have been withdrawn over the years as one by one they were... Yeah, one by one they were found out to be carcinogenic, yeah.
Like a square. Brown they were.
Yeah.
Oh, and they were lovely. I adored them.
Yeah.
And, you know, it nearly sent you unconscious.
Blew your head off.
Do you realise the chloroform that was in them is possibly withdrawn now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they put on, instead, took those away because of the chloroform, but they put some, a black one, not as potent as that. Not as good.
I'm just trying. I think one of the principal ingredients of Victory V lozenges was, for a long time, was creosote. And then...
what it did to us, heaven knows.
Yeah. It killed you, but you had a lovely finish.
Oh, God,
thank you all.
The chloroform and the...
I know.
Delicious. You used to make them go thinner and thinner as you know, take them out, but they were withdrawn because, of course, they were terrible.
Yeah. Well, you certainly enjoyed yourself, Winifred, just, just reminiscing about it.
Well, yeah. Well, and I've read... And the, K-lied. Oh, he's K-lied, he's drunk. But you can understand the potency of that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Those things were tremendous.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, they were sort of an aphrodisiac. You know, you'd say
I think this is where we came in, actually. Well, I never found it had an aphrodisiac effect on me, nor to any of the people I offered them to, luckily, because I went to an all-boys school, so that was probably all for the best, really.
Oh, possibly.
But, yeah, anyway, whatever. I've never actually heard Victory V lozenges used as an aphrodisiac, really. I've always been rather attracted to women who smell of Vic Vapor Rub, but that's as far as I can take it, to be honest. Right, there we are, Winifred, thank you. K-lie, origin of that expression. Right, I'm going to do, tidy up some loose ends about the greatest film ever made. In a moment or two. 0161 288 0103, and we'll keep things ticking along nicely. 25 minutes past 11.
Is the internet a bad thing or a good thing? With AOL, you can debate the issues affecting you. Key 103 and AOL are giving you the chance to win some amazing prizes. All you need to do is identify the discussion topic and you could win VIP gig tickets, a personal shopper experience, a spa break and loads more. Find out more at key103.co.uk and win all this week on Digi's Drive Home with AOL and Key 103. Key 103.
Practical German.
Ich habe eine Panne.
My car has broken down.
Ich brauche dringend Hilfe.
I need help.
Ich habe vergessen, dem RAC beizutreten.
I forgot to join RAC Rescue.
der 6 spezielle Patrouillen in Deutschland für die Fußball-Weltmeisterschaft unterhält.
Who have 6 dedicated patrols in Germany for the World Cup.
Ich bin ein Nincompoop.
I am a nincompoop.
For expert breakdown assistance at home and abroad, visit rac.co.uk.
He's heading home again!
Football. I'm tired of football. And footballers. I wouldn't mind their money, though.
Don't dream about the lifestyle of a footballer's wife. Win it with Boots and Coca-Cola. 2 nights in a 5-star London hotel, tons of pampering, shopping at Tiffany's and Harvey Nichols, plus dinner at 2 swanky restaurants. Drop into Boots before the 5th of July for how to enter, plus our special deal of any 2 500ml bottles of Coke or Diet Coke for £1.30. No purchase necessary. Conditions apply. Boots and Coca-Cola.
It's the perfect match!
The James H. Reeve phone in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
It's coming at us from all directions here. Someone who signs him or herself A-level politics student. Ooh. This is in reference to the idea that this, what now appears to be an urban myth, that they have a different rug in the presidential office, in the Oval Office, depending on whether America is at war or peace. And our student says the idea that the eagle's head faces the lightning bolt during war and the olive branch during peace is not true. It used to. It has changed, but only once, because it used to, up until the end of World War II, the eagle used to face the lightning bolt at all times, but the well-meaning President Truman changed it at the end of World War II, so it permanently faces the olive branch, to symbolise a desire for a permanent desire for peace. So there you are. That's nice. I'm very interested in that. So it's a myth that they change it around, but they did change it, presumably in 1945, 1946, at the end of the Second World War, so that it is permanently facing the olive branch, which I think is a nice idea, although naturally we can question how far they've got to achieving that. Right. You would love to be Arthur Askey, you idiot. Give up and go home, Brenda, in Wigton, which may be Warrington, or it may be Wigtown. I don't know. Well, I might do, Brenda, but luckily, when I get home, you won't be there. Thanks. Somebody called Paul, who calls himself just Paul, who is called Paul, so that's all right, referring to the Zulu special last week, and I can't find the music, so you'll have to imagine it. Wrote a very long letter, which begins... May I say how much I enjoyed your Zulu special on Monday night. Interesting. I enjoyed hearing about what became of the various people who fought at Rorke's Drift after the battle. Most of it I had never heard before. Just to help you up, you asked about Sergeant Maxfield, the character in the film. He was the one who was he didn't know what was going on because he was delirious. Well, he was the one who was ill with fever. He was killed when the burning roof fell on him in the film. That's right. Well, I've had another look since, and in actual fact, that's what happened to him in the film. In real life, he was apparently stabbed to death by Zulus on his bed, despite attempts to rescue him by various other inmates of the hospital. He was played in the film by Paul Daneman. The soldier with the neck brace on was Private Hughes, and he was played by Larry Taylor. OK, now then, he goes on. In actual fact, the officer in charge of Rorke's Drift was neither Chard nor Bromhead. He was actually Major Henry Spaulding. I've checked this out, and this is the case. He was nominally in charge, but what he did was he rode to a place called Helpmekar to find out where the reinforcements were, which should have arrived 2 days previously, and he rode back, leaving Chard in command, while he went to see where the other lads had got to. Consequently, he missed it all. And Paul says, what would have happened if he'd still been in command? Would the same thing have happened? Well, we'll never know. Yeah, we can only speculate. But what he did, he had to decide who should be in charge. And this happens in the film, where they discuss whether Chard or Bromhead is the senior officer. And it was much more complicated than it was in the film. Because Chard, being in the Royal Engineers, when you pass out at Royal Engineers, you automatically pass out as a lieutenant. And Bromhead had been a subaltern or a second lieutenant before he became a lieutenant. So Bromhead had been in the army longer, but Chard had been a lieutenant for longer. So that's why he was a senior officer. It's rather more complicated than they portray it in the film. The last thing Paul mentioned is, he does say, why is James Langley Dalton, who was in the Army Medical Department, why did he get a Victoria Cross? He doesn't seem to do much in the film. Well, he was wounded. He was shot in the film, but carried on, and in all the books I've had a look at, it doesn't say a great deal about what he did, except that he was commended and awarded a Victoria Cross. So, yeah, he's only represented briefly in the film, but he was wounded, and he did carry on, presumably distributing ammunition, or he may have attended to the wounded. I don't know. There's not a great deal of information on that. But this is the one. Paul says, have you come across mention of a Corporal McMahon? He was awarded the Distinguished Conduct Medal for his part in the battle. At some point afterwards, the medal was withdrawn, and he didn't get it. I don't know why. What did he do to deserve that? Well, I've looked that up, and he was recommended for the Distinguished Conduct Medal, but 2 weeks later, he was on report for being absent without leave and for theft, and therefore the DCM was withdrawn. So that's that. And one last thing, I couldn't actually put my hand on it last week, but Henry Hook, who obviously, you know, his role in the film, he wasn't a bit of a swerver, as portrayed in the film. He was an exemplary soldier, but it was he who got back to, bought himself out of the army in 1880, the 18 months after Rorke's Drift. When he got home, he found that his wife, who may have been only his common-law wife, thought he'd been killed and had therefore sold his house and married somebody else. So that was it. And he cleared off, became a cloakroom attendant in the British Museum. Right, yeah. So there. And there's a lot of sad stories. Corporal Hitch's wife died and he ended up living on his own in lodgings and a taxi driver. When he died, several of the other survivors of Rorke's Drift came to his funeral, and 1,000 London cabbies attended his funeral. So there. As I say, I'm not doing it all again. If you want to find out all about this, let me recommend this book to you. I'll put it on the website. It's called Rorke's Drift, and the author is a bloke called James W. Bancroft, and he's from Eccles. There you are. He lives in Eccles, and he's from Pendleton. So there we are. Don't know what the connection is, why he chose to do it, but tip-top. I'll put it on the website so that you can have a look. Right. We're off to Oldham in a second, and to Timperley, and who knows, we could be up your neck of the woods. Leave it in a second. 0161 288 0103. Whenever you like.
P103's Regen 10, celebrating the rebirth of Manchester.
Manchester is our city.
There is no greater symbol of what our cities can do when they combine bold civic leadership with the commitment and enthusiasm of ordinary people.
It's the place that defines us.
I've lived there all my life. With this being built now and the redoing of Salford itself, it's actually making the area a lot better.
And even when things stand in its way.
The IRA hasn't claimed responsibility, but all sides are accusing them.
It comes out stronger.
This amazing, sort of striking building sits where a car park used to be, on the edge of of the blast area of the bomb. I think really it is the phoenix of the ashes.
That's why Key 103 and the MEN are hosting Manchester 10 Awards. 10 years of making Manchester great. To vote, visit key103.co.uk.
Key 103's Regen 10, celebrating the rebirth of Manchester.
Since the bomb went off in 1996, the face of Manchester has changed radically, and Key 103, in partnership with Stepping Stones, is celebrating through Regen 10. But Manchester hasn't just improved on the surface, it's a wonderful place to live and work. 2 years ago, Manchester City Council set up a unique project called Stepping Stones to help people claiming incapacity benefits get back to work. Their team of advisors can support you with workshops, training, advice and financial incentives, and they've helped over 1,000 people to get the jobs they wanted. So if you're on incapacity benefit and you'd like to get back to work but aren't sure how to go about it, give Stepping Stones a ring on 0800 783 1080 and be a part of Manchester's success.
Come in, quickly, come on. This is the reception room with heated fireplace, hallway into open plan kitchen stroke diner, garden out the back there. I'm moving on.
Can I just,
Seen enough. Right, upstairs, quick. Bedroom 1, bedroom 2 with ensuite. Ignore that. Round the corner's bedroom 3. Okay, seen enough. Excellent. See yourself out. Thanks for coming around. Thank you. Goodbye.
Can't wait to get on holiday. Cosmos has thousands of holidays ready to go. To book, call 0870 145 5000 or click cosmosholidays.co.uk. Go book it.
Can I help you, sir?
Yes, I'd like to vote on the future of this bank.
Ah, right. I'll just get a, ballot paper. There you go.
I'm sorry, you've just written this.
So?
Well, it's to vote on your lunch.
Yes, pork pie or Scotch egg.
I don't know.
All right. Should I grow a moustache or a goatee?
I don't want to vote on that.
Well, what then?
Something of consequence about the bank, preferably.
Ah, I see. Right. The new carpet, red or mauve?
This is ridiculous.
You're the one who wanted to vote. Can't handle being on the spot, eh? Imagine if I gave you something important to vote on.
Unlike some places, at Nationwide we let customers, not shareholders, have a say in how we run our business. If you're an eligible Nationwide member, you'll receive a voting form complete with an easy quick vote option to make things simple. Just return it in the prepaid envelope or pop it in the ballot box at any Nationwide. And for each vote, Nationwide will donate money to disability sport events. Up to £100,000 in all.
Look, I just want my voice to be heard, okay?
Oh, right, well, try cupping your hands round your mouth like this. Hello? Hello?
Nationwide. Proud to be different.
The James H. Reeve phone in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Yes, that's right. 0161 288 0103. No mistaking that. I've had all that time. And now it puts in an appearance. Wallace? Wallace is in Oldham. Wallace, you're on that Key 103.
Good evening.
Good evening. Do you have a query or a theory?
Theory.
Oh.
A theory.
A theory?
Yeah.
Right.
It's about Monty Python and the goodies.
Oh, yes. Right, just let me recap, because we're great believers in it. A number of people inquired about, it's like this family tree business, isn't it?
Yeah.
A programme which had the goodies and some Monty Python members in it.
Yeah.
Before they became the goodies and
that's right,
Monty Python was formed. I thought it was a thing called Do Not Adjust Your Set.
It might have been not only but also. Something like that.
Oh no, that was rubbish. That was Peter Cook and Dudley Moore. What are you talking about? There's nothing to do with it.
I know that David Frost was involved. He had something to do with it, didn't he?
No, he had nothing to do with that, but he did a thing before he went. He's gone a bit peculiar now, David Frost. He's in a bit of a world of his own. Oh yeah, but he used to do all manner of things. That was the week that was the Frost Report. Yeah, Ronnie Barker, Ronnie Corbett, and John Cleese all appeared in the Frost Report.
Right.
Roy Kinnear used to be on That Was the Week That Was. Roy Kinnear, the actor, remember him?
Yes, I do, yes.
Who we learnt only recently he was from Wigan.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Right.
And who else was, what was his name? Kenneth Cope.
Kenneth Cope?
Kenneth Cope went, I think he was a Scouser actually, I think he was a Mickey Mouser. He appeared in Coronation Street.
Right.
In its fairly early days, and he then was in the original Randall and Hopkirk Deceased.
Oh, yes, I like that. Was good, that.
Right. Do you remember the original one before Vic and Bob did it?
Yeah.
Right. He was, I think he was the dead one, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Mike Pratt was the other one.
Was he really? I never remember the other fella's name, Jeff. He was called Jeff in the film, wasn't he? Yeah,
Mike Pratt.
Right, well, there we are. So, was that your theory?
Well, I thought it was, not only, but also...
Yeah, oh no, that was absolute and complete rubbish, if you don't mind me saying so, Wallace.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, don't take it personally, though.
No, well...
Okay.
It was some sort of... They were students, weren't they?
Who?
They were goodies before they became the goodies. They were all at university.
Yeah, but what they mean is they were in something.
Yeah, I can't remember. I've seen this programme about it, and I can't remember what it was.
Right, but it obviously didn't sink in. Okay, lovely. Thanks very much indeed. Well, that was Wallace, miles wide of the mark. But Sue in Denton says and begins very wisely. Hi, honey, and somebody else. I can't find it in the pile of stuff in here. But somebody else sent this in as well. The TV series with the Goodies and Monty Python in before they became such, I think was called Broaden Your Mind. Now, if it was, that's the first time I've ever heard of it. I know there was Do Not Adjust Your Set, which had the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band in it, and David Jason, and a small and, I have to say, unprepossessing woman called Denise Coffey. But there was that, and at last the 1948 show. But Broaden Your Mind. We'll investigate that. Can we put that at the top of our list of follow-ups, if you don't mind? Thank you. There. That was Wallace. Didn't know what he was talking about. But he meant well, and that's the main thing. Adam in Timperley, you're on Key 103. Are you going to do any better?
Yeah, it's about the touch on wood thing.
The what? Touching wood, yeah.
Yeah, there's sort of three different interpretations for it. The lady who brought it was correct that it was related to the timber of the cross.
Yeah.
Then there's also that if you knock on holy wood, such as ash or hawthorn or oak or whatever, then it will repel evil spirits.
Is that sort of a pagan?
I think so, yeah. It's sort of
yeah.
And then the third one is making a knocking sound makes your unwise comments unheard by the devil.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, these are very, very interesting.
So,
right.
We call it touch on wood. The Americans actually call it knock on wood.
They do. Eddie Floyd. Yeah. Eddie Floyd. Oh, you see, now, if I knew what happens in this place, if we still had records in cardboard sleeves, I would be able to keep talking, fumble through the records, put it on the turntable, and you would have Eddie Floyd singing Knock on Wood, and you'd think what a genius this man is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's all on a computer now, and I don't know where to begin looking for it, so you'll have to imagine it. Or you can sing a bit yourself if you want.
Also, I was wondering, what do you think of the poster I sent in yesterday of Kill Phil?
Kill Phil?
Yeah.
We are going to introduce that. Oh, you're responsible for that, are you?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
We must stress that this is a light-hearted remark with a satirical intent, and it is no way meant to encourage anyone or incite anyone to kill Phil from Eccles or Roger from Monton or Clint or whatever he calls himself.
Yeah.
Although I would say, from a purely personal point of view, if somebody were to, I wouldn't shed many tears. But that's just my personal outlook. You know what I mean?
We're going to actually, we're going to go look for him on Wednesday.
Yeah, don't kill him though, whatever you do, I must stress. And if you do, I'd like you to make it clear, I would like you to say audibly, in front of any witnesses, that Key 103 did not recommend this course of action.
They don't, they don't encourage the action.
No way condone it, right.
Yeah.
And any likeness, any resemblance to anyone living or dead is purely coincidental. Thank you.
Okay.
Right. Thanks very much for the wood thing, though. That was very nice. That's lovely. Don't kill him. Just rough him up a bit. Thank you. We can't afford the full fee, actually, to have him taken out completely. There we are. What else is still knocking about? Have we got any... Oh, yeah. This is... we did have a a response to this before. Somebody said, yeah, it is quite right that in 1966 the reason England played in red and Germany played in black and white was that they both, the colours were similar enough for them to be a toss-up, and Germany won and they played in their traditional colours. And somebody said England were not the home side. Well, I don't know whether that's splitting hairs. I mean, obviously we were the host nation. Whether that makes us the home side, I don't know. Or maybe you mean under FIFA rules it's you're not known as the home side. But anyway, the point is that England did play in red and Germany played in black and white. And the question arising from that, I mean, the original inquiry from Jimbo in Chadderton said the colours would clash on TV. Well, yeah, but if they both played in white, then they'd clash on the pitch. So, right. Anyway, that's the explanation. But something that I've never known to this day, and I have honestly asked, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have asked 4. I have personally asked 4 of the World Cup winning team, and 1 who didn't play in the final but played in the games up to the final. I have asked them why, even though it was in the height of summer that the World Cup final was played, why they played with an orange ball. They played with an orange football, which normally was only trundled out when it was snowing, and it most certainly did not snow in the summer of 1966. It did a few years later, because a cricket match between Lancashire and Derbyshire was called off in June. Snow stopped play, but not in the World Cup final in 1966. And none of the people I know who played in that game have any idea why it was an orange ball. Now, there is an explanation somewhere, but there, right. So that's all I can tell you. But yeah, there was a toss to see who changed strip. West Germany won, and because they were West Germany at the time, and that's why. But the orange ball remains a mystery to this day. We're going to speak to Pete in Middleton in a second, and also someone sent in an inquiry as to, oh yes, invited me to do another Long John Silver impression, the meaning of pieces of 8. Got it for you. 0161 288 0103. Incidentally, if you have something you would like to ask, or if there is something that you would like to explain. Thank you. 0161 288 0103. Or go to the website and see what's going on there. key103.co.uk. Middleton next.
Key 103's £25,000 triple play.
Last week we gave away £1,000. We've given away £5,000.
Yes! Get him!
And this morning we did it again by giving away another £1,000.
25, Susan!
But we still haven't given away the big one.
Key 103's £25,000 triple play. Could be any minute now. Better keep listening. Key 103.
Practical German.
Ich habe eine Panne.
My car has broken down.
Ich brauche dringend Hilfe.
I need help.
Ich habe vergessen, dem RAC beizutreten.
I forgot to join RAC Rescue.
Der 6 spezielle Patrouillen in Deutschland für die Fußball-Weltmeisterschaft unterhält.
Who have 6 dedicated patrols in Germany for the World Cup.
Ich bin ein Nincompoop.
I am a nincompoop.
For expert breakdown assistance at home and abroad, visit rac.co.uk.
Can I help you, sir?
Yes, I'd like to vote on the future of this bank.
Ah, right. I'll just get a, ballot paper. There you go.
I'm sorry, you've just written this.
So?
Well, it's to vote on your lunch.
Yes, pork pie or Scotch egg.
I don't know.
All right. Should I grow a moustache or a goatee?
I don't want to vote on that.
Well, what then?
Something of consequence about the bank, preferably.
Ah, I see. Right. The new carpet, red or mauve?
This is ridiculous.
You're the one who wanted to vote. Can't handle being on the spot, eh? Imagine if I gave you something important to vote on.
Unlike some places, at Nationwide we let customers, not shareholders, have a say in how we run our business. If you're an eligible Nationwide member, you'll receive a voting form complete with an easy quick vote option to make things simple. Just return it in the prepaid envelope or pop it in the ballot box at any Nationwide. And for each vote, Nationwide will donate money to disability sport events. Up to £100,000 in all.
Look, I just want my voice to be heard, OK?
Oh, right, well, try cupping your hand round your mouth like this. Hello? Hello?
Nationwide. Proud to be different.
Imagine a phone the size of a credit card with its own sleek leather wallet that keeps the phone charged. Imagine if it was free. The new Samsung P300 camera phone is free. Simply join a pay monthly tariff of £35 or more at any O2 store. You'll also get double your minutes for life.
See what you can do. O2.
While stocks last, on selected 18-month tariffs. Terms apply.
The James H. Reeve phone-in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Well, I think we're doing a bit of bobbing and weaving tonight, but we're more or less maintaining the juxtaposition of query and theory. Query, theory, theory, query. Pete, in Middleton, are you a theory, or are you, well, is there something you'd like to ask?
Well, it's a theory, really.
Aye.
It's, every person remembers something from years ago, and I remember something from, I'm in my 40s now, but I remember when it was late 70s, that word Kalide.
Kalide, yeah.
Yeah. I believe it comes from something to do with a kaleidoscope, and something to do with the Beatles, the song Kaleidoscope Eyes. You know, when you look into a kaleidoscope and everything's all over the place and bizarre.
Yeah.
Well, that's the same as when you're drunk. If you know what I mean.
I do. I know exactly what you mean. I'm familiar with the expression being drunk. I can assure you. Kaleidoscope. I'm just trying to remember.
Kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
It was just what I remember from the late set. I used to be a punk rocker, believe it or not.
Yes.
And it was just one of those stupid bits of information that someone tells you and it sticks in the back of your head for years. And that has stuck in the back of my head for years. And when I heard it tonight on the radio, I thought, I know this. This is kaleidoscope.
Well, possibly, yes. I'm not 100% convinced of that. I'm just trying to remember why a kaleidoscope is called a kaleidoscope. Obviously, scope means to view, you know, as a telescope, stethoscope, and what have you.
What's collide?
Collide. It must.
Collide.
Yeah, I know. It sounds a bit like it, but I'm sure it's a Greek word. I'm sure.
You think?
I'm sure it's probably Greek for colours or something like that. But anyway, I think you're wrong about that one.
I don't know.
I think you are.
It's just something that's been told to me, and it sticks there in your head, and it's stayed there for years.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people talking about being K-Lied before Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, which of course...
Kaleidoscope Eyes.
Yes, right, but the kaleidoscope has existed for quite some time, since it was invented by somebody called Clyde. Perhaps it was a Bonnian kaleidoscope. I don't know, but it was very nice of you to offer that, Pete. I think it's nonsense. Thank you. Johnny says, technically, this is a text message here, England weren't the home side in the final of 1966 because of the way the draw worked out. The official fixture was listed as Germany versus England in that order. Well, this is, it's a trifling point, but it's the sort of thing that comes in handy now and again to, you know, you can probably win money in a pub with information like that at your disposal. Right. I'll look into that as well. There is, to go back to what John from Salford was asking, yes, as he says, this is an excuse to do your Robert Newton impression. Can I ask what pieces of eight, the expression pieces of eight, refers to? I realise, obviously, it's treasure. What exactly is it? Can we have chapter and verse, please, Long John? Arr. He doesn't say that, but I've just threw that in. Anyway, it goes back to the days of the... now, I can feel myself being pulled irresistibly towards a bit of Long John Silver impersonating, but I'm fighting it as best I can. You can't help it, can you? But here we go. Right. It goes back to the days of the Spanish... No, of the 17th century and the days of the Spanish Main and the actions of pirates and privateers. And I think I've got... it's like a sort of seafaring version of Tourette's, isn't it? Anyway, the Spanish currency was the peso, which had a nominal value of 8 royals. Okay, so a peso was worth 8 reals. Now, actually, not only were they worth 8 reals, not only did it divide, you know, like pennies in a pound, reals in a peso, not only was it arithmetically worth 8 reals, but the coins were often actually physically cut up into 8 bits or 4 quarters to make change. That's a fact. You cut a coin up into 8 bits. So it was a piece of 8. That's the idea. It's the origin of the colloquial name pieces of 8 for the coin. And I most certainly did not know this, that's why the expressions a quarter and 2 bits are used to this day in the United States. Right, a quarter and 2 bits, obviously 2/8 is a quarter, and that is slang for 25 cents in the United States. Obviously, 25 cents is a quarter of a dollar. Okay, so a bit would be 12.5 cents. So there we are. Are you happy with that? That's a beauty. Pieces of 8 because it was commercially and physically worth 8 of the smaller denominations. Bob's your uncle. Thanks very much indeed. And towards the end, I even forgot to attempt to be Long John Silver. So that's quite nice. So, this is it. This is like shelling peas, this, isn't it? Is there anything else left to do? The Beaufort scale, we might get round to that in a bit. Passing the buck. Yeah, we did that. I think it's to do with buckshot. I don't think it's to do with anything else. Right. And an anonymous texter sends the following message, which is not helpful in the slightest. Have touching wood and touching cloth got anything in common? Not really, no, because one is good luck and the other is indeed very, very bad luck. In fact, I've heard that said to people when they have touch cloth. Bad luck, yeah. Thank you. Right, I'm just reading a complicated one. I can feel a bit of a Jackie desk coming on soon, in which, if you don't know what our new feature is, the Jackie desk is when Jackie comes in carrying in the one hand a ream, or possibly a quire, of theories and queries which have been sent to us in paper form via our email site, and in the other hand, miraculously, she's carrying a large mug of steaming hot tea. And that feature will take place in a short while. Thank you. You're listening to Key 103. It's James H. Reeve. We've just cusped from Monday into Tuesday, but we've got just under an hour remaining of Theories and Queries. 0161 288 0103 is the way to pose your query or offer your theory. I am thanking you.
Is the internet a bad thing or a good thing? With AOL, you can debate the issues affecting you. Key 103 and AOL are giving you the chance to win some amazing prizes. All you need to do is identify the discussion topic and you could win VIP gig tickets, a personal shopper experience, a spa break and loads more. Find out more at key103.co.uk and win all this week on Ditchy's Drive Home with AOL and Key 103. Key 103.
Mom, I've just cut myself. I so need one of those wickedly wonderful, fabulously flexible, water resistant, I mean so amazingly protective, ace-performing, dead comfortable, simply brilliant, fast-healing, super sticky, unbelievably good, extremely neat, totally discreet, oh so cool, works so well I just couldn't live without them plasters.
You mean the Savlon Advanced plasters?
Yeah, sure, whatever.
New Savlon Advanced plasters, the only family plasters you'll ever need.
Wouldn't it be a good idea to be able to move your mortgage without paying hundreds of pounds in setup fees? We think so too. The fee-free mortgage from Abbey. Pay nothing on booking fees, nothing on standard legal fees, nothing on valuation fees. Pay absolutely nothing to remortgage to us. Call 0800 80 80 80, visit abbey.com or your local branch for details. Abbey. More ideas for your money.
Available on selected tracker products. Early repayment charges apply for 2 years from completion. Free valuation up to £1,100. Calls recorded.
The James H. Reeve phone-in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Sorry, I'm just a bit distracted there. There was, just before we go to the desk, which is not actually functioning as I would have hoped because there isn't any tea involved. That's probably just a temporary breakdown. Somebody who normally just acts the goat, DC Rook, says Kaylee is, and you never know, you see, with this texting, whether someone's suffering with fat fingers, but Kaylee is a glass wort. So that could be anything, really, with a fleshy jointed stem, which again could be anything. Frankly, but I think we're in the plant world here, having a high soda content originating from Arabia. See, he said, I am not just comic. No, I didn't. I don't think I suggested that you were. I think I suggested that you were an irritant. But anyway, Kaylee, it does sound like a word that's been brought back from foreign climes.
And
it?
so the emails would suggest, actually. First one from Jerry in New Moston and says, "Hi, Wicked Wonder. I think that's to you."
Yeah, well, at least it's its own colour.
Can't tell you. That's not nice.
What?
That last comment.
Why? What?
Not
I'm
nice.
just saying.
Can't tell you about the Kaylee business, but I once got told that licorice comes from Spain, hence Spanish. I'm pretty sure that's true because my nana told me when I asked her as a child.
That's called Spanish. Yeah, all right, well.
Darren in Salford says, in the late 70s or early 80s, I remember being taken to Salford Quays to go on board a submarine that had been taken up the canal and moored. Do you remember this, and what was the name and nationality of the vessel?
No, I don't. It wasn't the one that... Was it a modern submarine, or was it the U-boat that they found, that they raised, which they then put on permanently on display at Liverpool, which I believe they've now had to move again because they're extending it or closing it down or something, aren't they?
I do remember talking to a friend's dad who told me that they used to have submarines and lots of other vessels coming into Salford Quays years and years ago, but I don't remember any particulars.
Well, they did used to have a lot of ships coming in there because it was...
but submarines are a bit more unusual, aren't they?
It was a very daring U-boat captain who would have sailed all as far as Trafford Park in an attempt to sink,
I'm sure he said that submarines had been there. Anyway.
In an attempt to sink the city of Salford.
Well, can't imagine.
Do you not know about the SS City of Salford?
No.
My uncle was engineer on it.
Right.
And it was, they used to call it the lavender boat.
Why?
Which probably gives the game away. The lavender boat. Because that's the thing about Salfordians. We're proud in a very sort of down at heel and tragic sort of way.
Yeah.
Because the SS City of Salford, it was called the lavender boat, just as the song about the bloke who works down the sewer is called Sweet Violets.
Right.
It's it used to collect all the you know, the big sewage works.
Oh, very well, yeah.
Yeah, where the motorway goes over the canal.
It stinks.
Yeah. And the city of Salford used to fill up there and cart it all out into, in my view, quite appropriately, Liverpool Bay. And then, thanks to its unique opening mechanism, would let it all go. And,
do we have to?
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not merely...
Come on, do you have to use phrases like let it all go?
Well, we are a seafaring nation. I naturally use these expressions.
Go on.
And then come back and repeat the process, you see.
Right.
And my uncle, in fact, I saw him last year, not seen him for ages, saw him last year. And he was from actually, uncle by marriage is from Northern Ireland. And the unfortunate thing is that on the, bear in mind what the city of Salford did for a living, he was the third engineer. But as I say, he was Irish.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, should we move on?
Yeah, okay.
I'm lost. Johnny in Salford says, hello old boy, Salford Town Hall is now Swinton Town Hall, and the fire station is still there but no longer in use. The Salford Police have recently moved to newer premises near Salford Precinct. But there's a massive new police building in Swinton as well, opposite the Bull's Head.
No, he's talking, that's rubbish now.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, Salford Town Hall, it might not be still the Town Hall, but it was on Bexley Square, which is off Chapel Street.
I think I have to agree with you there, James.
No,
Swinton Town Hall is in Swinton.
Swinton Town Hall is...
Opposite the wine... Puccini's. What's that restaurant?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the wine bar, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now whether Swinton Town Hall is now Salford Town Hall...
No, it's not.
It's not? Has
Definitely
Salford still
not.
got its own town hall?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure of that.
I'll go along with that.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying that it used to be off Bexley Square, and that's where there was the Magistrates' Court was there as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether they've all changed it.
I'm pretty sure the police station's still there because I saw a copper being interviewed outside there recently. So I'm pretty sure the police station's still, or some of it's still there.
I thought they'd moved it from the Crescent to the precinct, but anyway.
Okay.
We'll check up on that
Yeah.
one. Right.
Colin Oldham says, in southern Italy... this is regards to the licorice. What?
I've just...
What are you doing, reading something off the screen?
Something just caught my eye. I was a little bit distracted.
In southern Italy, large quantities of licorice root are grown, but it is chiefly converted into extract, though some of the root is exported. Spain and the south of France furnish quantities of carefully dried licorice root. Up to the year 1890, the cultivation of Spanish licorice was small or moderate in comparison with the wild collection, owing, however, to the depletion
Big word. Try putting your finger under the words as you're going along. That helps often, I find.
Owing, however, to the depletion of the natural supplies of roots of good quality, this cultivation has grown rapidly in South and South-Central Europe, where the climate is favourable.
Right, so Spanish might have been just a vague term meaning olive-skinned and dark curly-haired people. Anyone from round there.
I don't know if it's quite saying that.
I think that's what they're getting at.
Dave in Stockport says, hi James, I'm listening to your show and doing some work, so can't help but check some stuff online. It's always useful. Regards to the rug in the Oval Office, according to a web chat found on the White House website, there is just one seal of the President at any given time, and it does not change according to whether or not the United States is at war. When Harry Truman was President, he wasn't happy that, with it being 1945 and the end of World War II, the eagle on the presidential seal looked towards the arrows held in its legs. On the seal, the eagle has arrows in one feet and olive branches in another. Traditionally, the eagle used to look towards the arrows. After 1945, the seal was changed to look towards peace, as in America should always look towards peace rather than war.
And aren't they doing well?
Each president does, however, change the rug in the Oval Office when they take office.
Oh, do you get to, like, keep the rug as a
Maybe
souvenir?
you get to take it away with you.
It's like getting a little model of Bully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be that.
All right. Sam the Eagle. You get a little Sam the Eagle today. I've been accused of looking like him, you know.
Of who?
Sam the Eagle.
That's rubbish.
Right.
On the same subject, Dan and Lee says, I think the rug in the White House has something to do when the US are at war, there are arrows or something like that on it.
Right.
And
thanks, pal.
Yeah, that's useful. Sally and Simply says, the full-colour US flag cloth replica is worn so the star field faces towards or to the flag's own right. When worn in this manner, the flag is facing to the observer's right and gives the effect of the flag flying in the breeze as the wearer moves forward.
What the hell's this about?
She's taken it from a website, so it's all in dictionary language. If that makes sense. The appropriate replica...
Who was it who asked this in the first place at 10 o'clock? This is trite,
Rubbish.
But we did have the explanation, but I somehow cannot... I have never, even in the worst John Wayne films, I have not seen an American flag flying with the stars not nearest the flagpole. Whichever way round the flag is, I have never seen it flying with the stars on the... What's it called? The various... furthest away from the flagpole.
You've never seen the stars furthest away from the flagpole?
No, never, ever. And it's probably not worth getting...
Well, you wouldn't, would you? Because that's the way the flag is.
No. Have you not been following?
Yeah,
oh, no, you've been too busy... Oh, no, you haven't been too busy making tea, have you?
Right, shut up now.
Right.
Is it coughing and sneezing
Anyway,
in there? Because you give me your cold.
We've both got it now. Excuse me. Leroy in Prestwich has just sent us a... I don't believe this is true, actually, about the name of the man who invented the chastity belt.
Oh, right.
I don't believe that's true. He's confusing him with a character out of Coronation Street. Just as the inventor of the athletic support, gents athletic support, was not called Alfred.
What are you doing with your hands?
I'm just demonstrating.
Okay.
Illustration for shape only.
Right.
Of the male athletic support was not called Alfred Hitchcock.
No.
Well, neither was the inventor of the chastity belt called this.
Can you read it out?
It's probably a misprint.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's
it's approaching midnight, 15 hours, and we're still open. If you still feel like exercising your, the grey matter, because this is cheaper than buying a video game recommended by Chris Tarrant for only £38,000. This is free. Well, it might cost like a shilling for a phone call, but other than that, this is an excellent way of keeping your, keeping the grey cells lubricated.
And we do like to keep our brain cells lubricated.
Yeah, I choked for want of tea then. The Crescent Police Station has closed. It has moved to a new building on the precinct. Yeah, I had a feeling it had. And DC Rook says, I will make it simple for you. Kali is a plant found in Arabia. It is eaten by Arabs, the indigenous population. It is full of soda. It was eaten by British troops, and too much of it made you dizzy. You will know the feeling. Yes, I do. Thank you. So, I think it is a relic of empire, Kali, and that must be how it came to be. How rainbow crystals, they used to call them lemonade crystals as well, but it generally referred to as Kali, and this should not under any circumstances be confused with sherbet, which would be a very, very dangerous, misleading and frankly unhelpful thing to do. And we've just got a text message about the submarine. Right, do that in a second. It's still open for business till 1 a.m. 0161 288 0103. Whatever you like. I'll tell you the name of the submarine which appeared in Salford Quays, Salford Docks, whatever it was called at the time. We'll tell you more in a second. James H. Reeve on Key 103, 0161 288 0103 to ask or answer. We're very flexible. It's 16 minutes past midnight.
Is the internet a bad thing or a good thing? With AOL, you can debate the issues affecting you. Key 103 and AOL are giving you the chance to win some amazing prizes. All you need to do is identify the discussion topic and you could win VIP gig tickets, a personal shopper experience, a spa break and loads more. Find out more at key103.co.uk and win all this week on Digi's Drive Home with AOL and Key 103. Key 103.
Egypt is fantastic.
It's a country where everything's beautiful.
The people are so cool.
When you're here, there's a kind of magic. It's great to be here.
Egyptians treat you so well. Unforgettable beaches.
Egypt is like a dream.
Will I come back? Of course.
Nothing compares to Egypt.
If you left your heart in Egypt too, make sure to say so at the Love Egypt Club at www.egypt.travel.
Babe, I don't want to scare you, but something very weird is going on.
What's that, love?
We're sitting in TGI's, and I'm eating a delicious Cajun chicken sandwich with fries.
Yes?
But it's daytime, and it's a huge portion, and it cost me less than £5. It just doesn't make any sense.
Lunch has arrived at TGI Fridays with full-size main courses from just $4.95. Available Monday to Friday, 12 to 3. TGI's in daylight? Try it. It's only a tiny bit weird.
It's not even Friday. I'm telling you, those Americans are up to something.
He's heading home again!
Football. I'm tired of football. And footballers. I wouldn't mind their money, though.
Don't dream about the lifestyle of a footballer's wife. Win it with Boots and Coca-Cola. 2 nights in a 5-star London hotel, tons of pampering, shopping at Tiffany's and Harvey Nichols, plus dinner at 2 swanky restaurants. Drop into Boots before the 5th of July for how to enter, plus our special deal of any 2 500ml bottles of Coke or Diet Coke for £1.30. No purchase necessary. Conditions apply. Boots and Coca-Cola.
It's the perfect match!
5 mornings a week, Alison has treatment for cancer. The hospital is over an hour's drive away. This means filling up with petrol once or twice a week, which wouldn't be so bad if it was her only expense. Alison guessed that her treatment would involve lots of expensive machines, but she didn't think the hospital parking meter would be one of them.
Travelling and parking costs for cancer treatments can mount up, so if you're struggling to afford it, call Macmillan free on 0800 500 800, and we'll tell you what financial help is available and how to claim it. That's 0800 500 800. Macmillan Cancer Support. We want a better deal for people dealing with cancer.
The James H. Reeve phone in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Right you are. And so all will be revealed. I've got a text message saying, I remember my uncle taking me and my sister, this is Eddie from Salford, to the docks to see the ships and submarine in the 70s, and then to the pubs on Cross Lane, which is, fair enough. However, are you ready? Ron in Salford says, James, we went on it on a school trip. The submarine in question was HMS Otis. HMS Otis. Thank you. I see. Neatly done. Now, what very often happens at this time of night is that if I could use another military metaphor, is that there's certain, once the stormtroops, I'm taking you back now to, I'm painting a picture of the Western Front. Once the stormtroops have slid through the defences, probing for weak spots, and have moved on, new tactics, you see, is that then the reserve troops come up and they do what they call mopping up. See what I mean? Which mostly involves robbing and shooting the wounded. And if this practice were still to be conducted today, I would imagine someone of senior rank would be Matt in Bagley, because that's what he tends to do. He comes along, when it's all gone a bit quiet, he comes along, going through your pockets. Hello, Matt.
Yes, I've quite often nicked iron crosses off dead Jerry's, yes.
Do you think that's an appropriate metaphor?
Yes, I suppose so, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. A little ham-fistedly done, but yes.
Right, because you mentioned fisting again. You were kind enough to tell us that... What?
Completely innocently.
You, I know it just slipped out, didn't it?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned, what was it, the ordinance, the Protocol of Oxford or something last week?
Oh, the provisions of Oxford, yeah.
I meant to look that up and I forgot all about it. The provisions of Oxford...
1257.
Provisions of Oxford, which fixed our surnames for all eternity.
Well, not really fixed our surnames. That wasn't its primary function. No, it was to give relief to tenant farmers and give them more power.
Right.
Whereas the Magna Carta gave more power to the barons, of course.
Of course, you said, yeah.
Yes,
right. But did it give them release?
It possibly gave them quite
Yes.
good relief, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Just en passant, by the way. Yeah, you mentioned what the technical terms were for near the pole and away from the pole, on the flagpole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's not going to be a dirty joke.
No, isn't the fly nearest the pole?
No, the fly's furthest from the pole, and the hoist is...
No, absolutely, yes, yeah. The hoist is the... That's got the seam that the rope goes through, hasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
The fly is furthest away. Stand corrected.
Instructions for flying the Union Jack with the broader diagonal band of white uppermost in the hoist near the pole, and the narrower diagonal band of white uppermost in the fly furthest.
Right. Thank you.
I didn't realise it was designed by James I, the Union Jack.
Was it really? Did he do his own?
He did his own, yeah.
Right, yeah.
He got a few felt tips,
Yeah.
Have a go,
So he was very good with material, anything like that, wasn't
he? Yeah. Do you know where the popular pub name, the Swan with Two Necks, comes from, by the way?
Now, wait a minute. Do you mean necks or nicks?
Well,
we've had
one leads inevitably and inexorably onto the other.
Right, now, you better tell me whether I've got this the right way round, because there is one... Used to be, whether it's still there or not, I don't know. I've not been down there for a long while. There used to be one on Shude Hill.
Yeah, I used to drink in there, yeah.
Right. And there was also one out beyond Altrincham on the way to...
In Little Bollington.
Is it really?
Yeah.
There was one nearer than that.
And that's called the Swan with Two Necks, yeah.
Right, so the one on Shude Hill is with two necks... And the one, it's not Little Bollington, it's not that far out. It's before you get to the old number 3 and the Thresher out there.
Oh, right, well, there's one in Little Bollington anyway, but,
right.
Yeah.
So is that Nicks or Necks?
The one in Bollington is Nicks, the one on Shude Hill was Necks,
right.
Yeah. But, well,
you've gone again. Oh, have we not spoken to him about doing this? Right. Right, no, he's right. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know whether he's collapsed. Anyway, get hold of him again and tell him to behave himself. Thank you. This does actually give me the opportunity to mention something, which we've had a number of messages about this business about Paul Simon composing a song on Farnworth Station, and I am impressed, frankly, at the ingenuity and determination shown sometimes that we've received. I don't know whether this has just been taken now, but a photograph has just appeared, emailed, and it's a picture of a sign which says Farnworth Widnes. Is it a road? Yeah, I think it's a road sign. So clearly this is from somewhere nearby. It's a bit hard to tell. I think it looks as if it's been taken with a phone camera, but it's a road. It appears to be a road sign, but the type that you see fastened to the side of a building, Farnworth one way, Widnes the other. So there is clearly a place. Now, we've since had a number of messages saying that the plaque which commemorated Paul Simon's inspiration for the song Homeward Bound has had to be moved to Lime Street, where it's in more of a position to be admired, because it kept getting vandalised on Widnes / Farnworth Station. But somebody else did say that you can still see that if you go to Widnes Farnworth Station, you can still admire the 2 holes in the brickwork which it used to be, by which it used to be attached to the wall. So there you are. Thank you. Tar, what's the matter with Matt? He's sometimes, you don't know what he's doing. You get the feeling he's swanning about, don't you, with his yeah. Right, we'll try and re-establish contact with him if we can all join hands. Right. Anyway, luckily this gives us ample time to do this, and then we'll speak to Peter in Crumpsall, which will be nice. Ta.
These are the 3 songs you're listening out for on Key 103's £25,000 triple play. Play those songs in full and in that order on Key 103 sometime soon. And when we do, we'll be giving away another £25,000 cash. Key 103's £25,000 triple play.
On Key 103.
5 mornings a week, Alison has treatment for cancer. The hospital is over an hour's drive away. This means filling up with petrol once or twice a week, which wouldn't be so bad if it was her only expense. Alison guessed that her treatment would involve lots of expensive machines, but she didn't think the hospital parking meter would be one of them.
Travelling and parking costs for cancer treatments can mount up, so if you're struggling to afford it, call Macmillan free on 0800 500 800 and we'll tell you what financial help is available and how to claim it. That's 0800 500 800. Macmillan Cancer Support. We want a better deal for people dealing with cancer.
Normally in B&Q ads there's an awful lot to say and I have to talk really, really fast to get it all in. But this time, it's really simple. Duracell batteries at low B&Q prices. Lots of them. Loads, actually. And that's it. Might as well relax and recharge my batteries.
Egypt is fantastic.
It's a country where everything's beautiful.
The people are so cool.
When you're here, there's a kind of magic. It's great to be here.
Egyptians treat you so well. Unforgettable beaches.
Egypt is like a dream.
Will I come back? Of course.
Nothing compares to Egypt.
If you left your heart in Egypt too, make sure to say so at the Love Egypt Club at www.egypt.travel.
Wouldn't it be a good idea to be able to move your mortgage without paying hundreds of pounds in setup fees? We think so too. The fee-free mortgage from Abbey. Pay nothing on booking fees, nothing on standard legal fees, nothing on valuation fees. Pay absolutely nothing to remortgage to us. Call 0800 80 80 80, visit abbey.com or your local branch for details. Abbey. More ideas for your money.
Available on selected tracker products. Early repayment charges apply for 2 years from completion. Free valuation up to £1,100. Calls recorded.
Hey, stop, please don't give me a ticket. I'm only 3 minutes late.
Sorry, madam, the meter's expired. I've logged the offence into the system.
You parking wardens, you're such a bunch of wonderful people, so polite and helpful.
Hey?
Your mouth becomes surprisingly clean when you brush with an Oral-B cross-action toothbrush, as the criss-cross bristles remove up to 90% of plaque from between teeth. And if you buy one now, you'll get one free.
You wardens really are punctual.
We are.
Available at participating stores.
Welcome to live coverage of the England game. And England kick off. They pass it around a bit. And
Well, it's half-time. Let's hear what the panel think.
Well,
Stop you there. We're back for the second half. OK, bit more passing and tackling. And there's a goal for England. Oops, shoddy back pass there. Oh, another goal. Back and forth, another goal, another cross. There's the final whistle. Gotta go, got a plane to catch.
Can't wait to get on holiday. Cosmos has thousands of holidays ready to go. To book, call 0870 145 5000 or click cosmosholidays.co.uk. Go book it.
The James H. Reeve phone in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Oh, right you are. Good. You joined me after a severe coughing fit, but don't worry, I'll be fine. 28, something like that, to 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, of course, got an hour of your non-stop all-hit favourite music, this, that and the other from Key 103, and then Sam Walker with you from 2 o'clock through to 6 in the morning. Fun, your favourite music, all the competitions you can shake a stick at, and so on and so forth. I can't recommend it highly enough. I've got some information about... now, normally this bloke gets on my nerves, but on this occasion, he's been more than helpful. We have got the answer to the TV show which featured pre-Goodies and pre-Monty Python, people who eventually became part of those two entities. We have got chapter and verse. It's all confirmed. But first, in Crumpsall, Peter awaits. Peter, you're on Key 103?
Hello.
Did you ever believe such a thing would happen to you?
It's Dieter, by the way.
It's who?
Dieter.
Dieter?
Dieter, yeah.
Right, I'll just go and smack Jackie around the head, if that's all right.
No, not to that.
Dieter as in Müller?
That's the one.
Right, fantastic.
Yeah, I was born in Germany.
Right. God, you've not got a German flag in your window, have you?
No, I've got an English flag in my window.
Right, good move, yeah. Dieter, oh, you're born in Germany. Whereabouts, son?
Hereford.
Ah, there's a military connection then, isn't there?
There is. My father was from Salford, and my mother is German.
Right. I think my cousin was stationed at Hereford.
Well, really?
Probably with your dad. He's a fair bit older than me, but he was, yeah.
Right.
Was your dad doing his national service, or he was...
Yeah, he was a parachute regiment.
Well, there you are, you see.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a bunker baby.
Well, right. Yeah, my cousin was, he was in Hereford. He was the last mob to do national service.
Right.
So the government kindly extended it by an extra 3 months or 6 months, which he was thrilled to bits about.
Yeah.
But they are, and he was from Salford as well. So
oh, nice one.
Good. Well, Vilcommon in that case.
Right, going back to your submarine.
Oh, yes.
I remember my father as a kid taking me on that submarine.
Which one? Because
I'm talking about 40 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I think it was the first submarine that came into as it was then, the dock area.
Well, someone said before it was called HMS Otis, but, and I don't think I'm going to be able to find this unless I can keep talking, but somebody said there was a submarine came in the 60s. This might be the one you're thinking of, is it?
That's probably it, yeah.
Right. Can you remember what it was called, son?
I don't recollect it at all, no. It's a long time ago when I was very young.
I'm just trying to... I'm stalling now while I try and find that reference, because I can't remember where it was now. Right. But somebody said, yeah, there was... oh, I can't find it now. Darren in Salford says late 70s or early 80s. But there's a message somewhere which I can't find now.
Oh, there was one previous to that.
Which, yeah, said something about the 60s. But I can't find it now. Can you remember that, Mrs.? Oh, yeah. Oh, she said. Oh, she's just come in like in secretarial mode now. Oh, I'll just find it. He's a very busy man, but I'll just have a look through his papers to see if he's free. She even went to the trouble of licking her finger there to go through the... very professional looking. Right. This is the one I've just read out, you pie can. The one about... Was it in the 60s, or... It might have been a text message. I can't remember now. It's all a blur.
Yeah. All I remember is that... It was
like Miss Hathaway now.
They had like an in entrance at one end of the submarine,
Yeah.
and you walk through the submarine, and it was stifling. I don't know how them people can work on these things.
Oh, it is purgatory, yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. And then you came out the other end sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to... I mean, I wanted to go. I don't know whether it's... I don't know what's happened to it now. There was some rumour that something happened because was it the only remaining U-boat?
It was something like that, yeah, from what I can remember, yeah.
Was it or was it the last one to be raised, or the only one, something or other? Anyway, it was on display at Liverpool, but something's happened to it. They're either closing the site down, or they're having to move it, or something, and there are fears for its future.
Right.
Well, I think it would be instructive to go on a U-boat and see what it was like.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
I mean, a pal of mine got hold of... It's a long story, I've mentioned this before, but a mate of mine wrote a book which I was convinced would sell millions, but it didn't, about this fella called Charles Lightoller. I've mentioned this umpteen times.
Yeah.
But have you not heard it?
No, I haven't, no.
Then I'll proceed. One of the most fascinating characters you could ever hope to read about.
Right.
And you will have seen him a number of times without realising it. Any film you see about the Titanic,
right,
Charles Lightoller is in it.
Right.
And he's been played by a number of people, including Kenneth Moore.
Oh, right.
Right. And he's the bloke who calms them all down where they're all fighting to get into the lifeboats and all the rest of it, right?
Yeah.
And he was a real bloke. He was from Chorley. And he ran away to sea, and his adventures are just beyond belief. Not only was he on the Titanic, he was involved in all sorts of things.
Yeah.
He was a bit disgraced after the Titanic.
Oh.
But he was sent on a... He was in the... What did he become? Anyway, he was called up in the First World War.
Yeah.
He was on a destroyer which sank a submarine, sank a U-boat by ramming it.
Oh.
Then he relaxed in between the wars by just doing a bit of spying.
Right.
And he hired he bought a little boat and did a bit of cruising up and down the German coast, just doing a bit of sketching.
Yeah.
Right. And of course he was spying.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
He was sending his little sketches off to the War Office.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when the second lot breaks out, bear in mind, when he first ran away to sea, he was in sailing ships.
Right, yeah.
And then there was all sorts. He was in a mutiny, and he was shipwrecked, and he went to Australia and South America and all.
Yeah.
At one time, he went to the Klondike in the gold rush. You wouldn't believe this man's life. Oh, he did all sorts.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, he comes back. He's getting on a bit by now. By the time 1940 comes along, and the message goes out: well, anyone who's got a small boat, make their way to the south coast, because we need you to go to a place called Dunkirk.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which he does, and he goes. This is all true. This, and there are actually a couple of records of him speaking. And one talking about the Titanic, and he was the senior officer to survive the Titanic. You see, so he was the one who had to give evidence at the inquiry in London and the inquiry in New York, and all this sort of thing. But anyway, by the time he gets to Dunkirk, he's got with him a sea scout and another bloke from the village or something.
Yeah.
He's already lost. One of his sons was in the RAF, and he'd already been killed by this time.
Oh, right.
So they go over to Dunkirk, and they load up the boat. And forgive me now, the figures are probably wrong, but it was something of this nature. It was licensed to carry 20 people or something like that.
Right, and it had a lot more than that on it.
I think he brought back 112 blokes.
Yeah.
And, of course, they were being shot at on the way back by the Luftwaffe. So he's got the Sea Scout, who I think was 12, steering the boat.
Right.
And this is something that really sticks out in my mind. Lightoller, he remembers something his son had said to him when he was doing his training in the RAF.
Yeah.
Which is that an aircraft does something just before it opens fire. It dips its nose or something like that.
Yeah.
And he'd remembered this. So he's standing on the prow with all these Tommies sprawled all over the show.
Yeah.
Two of them are apparently sitting on the toilet just to get them in, right?
Yeah.
And he's watching the aircraft and giving signals to the Sea Scout to take evasive action.
Right.
And they're bobbing and weaving through all this lot at Dunkirk. And he brought back, as I say, it was 112 or 120 or something like that. I forget the exact figures. But if you'd like to go into it more, the book is called Lights.
Yeah, it sounds interesting, that one.
It's an absolutely... You wouldn't believe this bloke's life story. And as I say, in all the films about the Titanic, Second Officer Lightoller appears.
Right.
Because, he was significant.
Yeah.
But, and anyway, the point was this. Yeah. During the course of my mate's research, he actually finds not only the bloke who was the captain of the destroyer that rammed the U-boat,
right,
and he was a bloke called Gillespie, and he was like 98 or something.
Right.
And my mate went and spoke to him, and he remembered it all. But he also found out that the captain of the U-boat had written his own autobiography, in which he describes being rammed by this British destroyer.
Right. Yeah.
So he gets hold of this, and it was published in 1930-odd.
Yeah.
Of course, it was in German.
Yeah.
And it was after Hitler came in, so it was decreed that everything had to be printed in, like, Germanic script.
Yeah.
So when my mate got it, he couldn't make head and a tail of it, so I translated it for him. You see.
Yeah.
So, anyway, up to the bit where he gets rammed, he describes these ship ramming him, and he couldn't believe his eyes. And then after they were all swimming about in the North Sea, he said they all came on deck, and they were all throwing big lumps of coal at us in the water. Right?
Yeah.
And he said, this is the German captain. He said, and one of the greatest irony was that my Batman, my assistant on the boat, was hit on the head by a dirty big piece of coal, split his head open, and he drifted away and never saw him again.
Oh.
And he said, you won't believe what he did before he joined the Navy. He was a miner. Honestly, honestly.
Oh.
He said he was killed by a big piece of coal.
Oh, no, what a way to go.
In the middle of the North Sea. Right. Anyway, the point is, he describes they were stationed off the east coast looking for ships to torpedo and what have you. And he said they'd been there 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And he said it was the worst thing imaginable. Well, actually, probably not as bad as being torpedoed, thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah.
But he said you were underwater all day.
Yeah.
Came up to change your air at night. And then down again.
Yeah.
And he said the whole thing was, of course, everything condenses.
Yeah.
And he said everything is wringing wet through. Your clothes are wet through. The bedding's wet through.
Yeah.
Because you're constantly breathing out, and it's condensing because the sea around you is cold. He said, and for 3 weeks, he said everybody gets a cold and flu. Everyone is running with snot all day long.
Yeah.
Your clothes are wet. He said, nobody has a shave for about 3 weeks. So you've got a beard full of bloody dried snot and everything. He said it's the most appalling thing. And, you think you're going to snuff it of just like self-neglect. But that's the way it was. On the other hand, there will be that body of opinion that thinks we'll serve them right.
Well,
which you can quite understand.
Yeah.
Why did I start talking about that?
I've no idea.
Any idea whatsoever?
I've no idea.
No, I haven't really.
Anyway, going to another subject that you were talking about before.
Yeah, sorry, I do have a tendency to do that, but...
you divert, yeah.
I do, I'm afraid, yeah.
Origination of words.
Yes.
Now, I might be trying to teach my mother to suck eggs here, but news. The word news.
The word news, yeah?
Yeah. Do you know where that originates, right, from?
You can tell me if you want.
North, east, west and south.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. That's how they got the word news.
Well, I don't know. I know the French is, nouveau... Is it nouvelle or nouveauté?
Nouvelle, yeah, something like that, yeah.
Nouveauté is, new things. Which comes from the word new. From the Latin novellum, novella. German is Nachrichten, as I'm sure you're aware. Right, well, I'm not going to have a fight with you about that, because presumably your father trained you to kill a man with your bare hands, so I wouldn't want to get
How was about posh?
Posh. If you're going to tell me what I think you're going to say, there is no evidence to support it whatsoever. You're going to say, port out, starboard home. Yeah. Everyone loves saying that. As I say, this pal of mine he's done books on facts and he's researched them. He's gone all over the world researching these things, and he's been to the P&O offices, and he's looked through all the what do they call it, the manifests and all the passenger lists, and he said, and there is no reference anywhere.
But it makes sense, doesn't it? You know?
It does. It makes perfect sense. Yeah. And that's probably why people have seen it as being so such a convenient explanation. Well, but he said there is no evidence that P&O, and I can't remember what P&O is. It Pacific and Oriental or something like that?
Again, something like that. Yeah.
There is no evidence that they ever offered any such terms on a cabin, or that anyone ever used the expression or the abbreviation. And he said it was one of the biggest disappointments of his life, because it's such a neat explanation.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
No, sorry, mate, can't help you with that.
Okie dokie.
Well, that'll do for it then. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, Peter. And just a reminder, and I keep mentioning this, and I think it's it's very hard to get hold of, this book. You might be able to get it second-hand or something. But the book is called Lights, because that was his nickname.
Lights?
Yeah, his name was Charles Herbert Lightoller.
Right.
But the book is called Lights.
Lights, yeah, I'll have to get that.
And that was his nickname. And, oh yeah, the final thing I was going to tell you was that Professor Richard Holmes, who is a bit of a military waller, he does lots of TV shows and writes books and what have you, he did a series called War Walks. And he took you to various battlefields and what have you, but he decides to attempt Dunkirk.
Yeah.
And he's standing on the jetty at Dover, talking about the boats going over to Dunkirk. And he points, and like to illustrate it, they've got a boat going out to give you an idea of what it was like. And he said, boats like this one, Sundowner.
Right, yeah.
And that was Lightoller's boat. And I thought, I wonder if he knows. He may very well know that it was at Dunkirk and that it was owned by a bloke called Light. But does he realise who Lightoller was and what he'd done before all that took place?
Yeah.
And I meant to get in touch with him, but I never did. But yeah, the book is called Lights.
I'm reading one at the moment. It's called Shoot to Kill. It's by Michael Asher, and it's about his experience. It's a true story. He joined the parachute regiment, then he went into SAS.
Oh dear.
Well, I spent about 5 months in Aldershot, where like the paras are, and reading this book, it mentions so many places. It's so true to life. Well, it is. It's true. It's amazing. It mentions places in Aldershot that I know that I've been to.
Oh yeah, well that's the way it is. If you read The Manchester Man by Mrs. Linnaeus Banks, you'll find that it mentions places in Manchester as well.
Yeah.
Listen, we've got to move on, son.
All right,
but
mate.
Bear that in mind if you want to read it, and it's not just it's not just like a war book. It's a story. It's the most amazing story, and I can't believe that. Bear in mind, obviously, the people who've made all the films about the Titanic must have Because they include him, so they must have thought, well, we better have this bloke in.
Yeah.
And yet none of them has realised what an absolutely amazing life he led, right from the days of the, you know, clippers and what have you. There's one where he was shipwrecked on a desert island for about, was it 3 weeks or something, and they were attacked by giant albatrosses trying to peck their eyes out. It was just bonkers. Anyway, there he is. Charles Herbert Lightoller. Thank you. Now, Steve, bus driver, not hyphenated, said, Roy Murphy. Yes. Yeah, the late Roy Murphy. Have you heard this, you? Steve, the bus driver, says, Roy Murphy told me this story, and this sort of rings a bell, actually. Anne Robinson, of Weakest Link fame, once walked into the Swan on Shude Hill, K-Lied.
Really?
Yeah. And, in addition, completely naked.
No, not having that.
Yeah. I think this was before she'd had everything tightened up, you know.
No.
Oh, no, before she needed everything tightening up.
Okay.
Right, yeah, it will have been some time ago. That is the God's truth, says Steve. Anne Robinson once walked into the Swan on Shude Hill, K-Lied and stark naked.
I'm not having that.
Well, Steve assures me, and the late Roy Murphy was a man who would... well, there are two things about Roy Murphy. He would have been... he was an honest man, and also, if there were anything going on which involved being K-Lied and stark naked, there's a very good chance Roy Murphy was, in fact, there. Yeah, yeah. So I have no reason to doubt that. Thank you. Yeah, there are a couple of messages as well. Two people said there's a swan with two necks in Stockport on Princess Street. Yeah, two completely separate people have pointed that out, yeah. And, you know, this is depressing because... I can't remember which was which. The one on Shude Hill was called the Swan with two somethings, and the one I used to go to a lot. You'll know where you'll know. This is
up my street.
This is the sort of place where you go to, right? You don't go in the Slaughterman's Arms, do you?
I certainly do
on
not.
Inkerman Terrace.
No.
Right. Go to the M50, the end of the M56 roundabout.
Know it well.
Right, and then you go in towards Lim.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And you turn right, go down a lane, and there's a pub at the bottom there, a big pub called the Swan with...
Oh, is it near the Dunham Crematorium?
No, I've just told you where it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Nowhere near there.
Oh, right.
No. It's... In fact, I'll tell you exactly where it is again.
Is it a white pub?
I think it is, broadly speaking, but it's down... You go down this lane, and it doesn't go anywhere else, it only goes to this pub. And it's called the Swan with two... Anyway, the point is, which I think is what Matt would have said, had he not had another attack of whatever, was that it's... The ones that are called the Swan with two necks should in fact be called the Swans with two nicks, because swans don't have two necks.
No.
But what they do, depending on who they belong to, and if you're a swan, you've got two options, the Queen or the Royal Order of Licensed...
Blah, blah.
Yeah. You have one or two nicks put in your beak.
Oh, right.
So the Swan with two nicks, the Swan with two necks is just a corruption
But
of that.
hold on.
There's a lot of it goes on.
A lot of pub
I
names...
can't hold on too long because of the time.
A lot of pub names are silly anyway, like the Strawberry Duck or the Waltzing Weasel.
A lot were made up in the 1970s when it all got a bit daft.
Bit silly.
My favourite is the Spinner and Bergamot.
Oh, there's loads of silly ones.
No, but that's serious. That's a serious one. That's a real one. As much as the Crown and Cushion, that is called the Spinner and Bergamot. Well, I mean, all this, the Elephant and Suspender and all that. That's, yeah.
Slug and Lettuce.
Yeah. In fact, the Pig and Ball Bearing, my mate, I actually know the bloke who made that up.
Really?
Yeah.
Brilliant, like to meet him.
You've met him?
Have I?
Yeah. Look, I really haven't got time for all this now, because I've got to throw forward It was bound to happen sooner or later. Right, that's, I think, a highly successful and very, very draining Monday night edition of Theories and Queries taken care of. Tomorrow night, dunno, we might be, might even spend a moment or two discussing, how England shape against Sweden. Although, naturally, we wouldn't want to alienate anyone by so doing. But what I can tell you is that we'll be back here at 10 o'clock this evening. After the news at 1, it'll be an hour of non-stop, tip-top music. You know, some really entertaining tunes. And I'm best sticking to the speech side of things, really, I think, aren't I? Yeah. And then someone who knows what they're doing from a musical point of view from 2 o'clock. It's going to go. Sam Walker will be here to take you through until 6 in the morning. Everything you could possibly need to know on Key 103. Everything your heart desires, and it all begins after the news at 1.
Key 103.